to go live. And streaming. Okay, folks. Well, they say miracles come in all shapes and sizes, and well, here's one. We're actually on time.
Sorry, I'm late.
Liz has just beamed in from planet Oni. Welcome to my planet where everyone looks like me.
That'd be someone else's nightmare. That'd just be confusing.
Well, we could always go to a planet where everybody looks like Elmer, but is all kind, sweet, angelic, and serene. Elmer goes, I'm going to exterminate all of you.
It's like this planet doesn't deserve to exist.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that everybody comes here to Eltopia, and everybody is in support of Heath Slater as master and ruler of the universe. And Oni's just like, oh, hell no!
Speaking of L-Man, the guy went nuclear after seeing the result of Super Showdown. Let me just tell you that right now.
I did see some of the results, and someone pick up that phone because I called it.
I knew that was going to happen. Jesus.
And last Friday night on SmackDown, Goldberg out, 2-time Universal Champion, and then who steps forward to say he's next? Roman.
Mr. Borman Lames.
Oh, Borman Lames.
You know it's desperate when they're going to Goldberg. Can you do a WrestleMania? I don't want to. How does 20 million sound? Don't tease me.
Who do I have to wrestle?
Roman Reigns. Make it 25 million. What if it was Stone Cold Steve Austin? Oh, I'll do that for free. That's the one match, the one dream match we never got back in the day. Although Goldberg did take, I think he only ever took 2 stunners from Stone Cold, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that was Mania 20. And that's a match I'd like to forget about. Greetings to those in the live chat this evening. Greetings to Stephen Walker. Greetings to Sean. Steve's just saying, bit of bad news for my area. 2 cases of coronavirus confirmed. Ugh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this whole episode is getting so bad. New Japan had to cancel their annual New Japan Cup.
Damn.
Rumor is they might cancel WrestleMania because of it.
Jeez. And of course, WrestleMania's in Florida this year, ain't it?
God, yeah.
Now, from what I understand about the coronavirus itself, aside from the fact it's man meddling with nature, once again, it's a man-made thing.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand is if you do not have any major health complications to speak of, then yeah, it will knock you out for 7. But the good news is, if you're a reasonably healthy human being, it's basically like another strain of the flu. You know, you'll be bedridden for probably a week, but give your body the time that it needs to purge it out of the system, then you're going to make a full recovery. But it's only, like I say, if you've got any complications. That's why, you know, people made a mountain out of a molehill over the pig flu some 6 to 7 years ago, where you hear all these cases of, people being majorly hospitalized or sadly losing their lives, but they never go to say, you are aware that these people had this, and this with regards to health issues and other various ailments that they were already suffering from that further complicated this. The media likes to tell you one thing, but they don't highlight the small print. It's like when people go to say, offer you Grammarly. Grammarly's free. It's like, question from the crowd with those that have actually been around a while. Why is it free? ask yourself that question. So,
Mhm.
and this has actually been highlighted from a few doctors. You know, yeah, it's going to put you, in bed for a few days to a week, dependent on how good your immune system is. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be fine. So, not that I'm, actively suggesting for you to go and find somebody who's got it just to purposely get it. No, it's not what I'm getting at. It's just, if you look after yourself and you got a reasonably, good, healthy system, you're going to be fine. Because, there's what the media says, and then there's what they won't tell you.
Mm-hmm. Also, rumor is that apparently alcohol kills it, so I'm ready.
I had to be straight edge. But then again, the other way you can go around that is, that's also a thought. Dark chocolate, because ailments hate dark chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know the exact properties that's in regular chocolate, because there's two kinds of chocolate. There's the milk chocolate, which is like the processed and artificial, and then there's dark chocolate. That's like proper chocolate. There are things in regular cocoa, ailments hate it. That's why they say if you've got a cough, eat dark chocolate. If you've got a cold, flu, eat dark chocolate. And the upside to it as well is, not only is it good for your heart, but there are properties in it as well that will help produce serotonin in the brain, which is a natural antidepressant. So imagine only, being depressed and moody, which is every Thursday, I seem to recall. It's like, Oni, dark chocolate. I'm all kind and serene and happy. Hey, Lids, let's go for a St. Valentine's walk down Venice Beach. It's like, Oni, what have you been doing?
Oh, no.
I feel so happy. I'll actually watch AEW and Impact on the same evening. Oni, no.
No, not talking about that.
I just came in at a weird time.
Yes, you did,
hey.
Kaiju. How you doing, buddy?
As good as I can possibly be right now, given all the crazy shit that's going on in Japan right now.
Heard.
I mean, I just realized, I just found out 2 days ago, or not 2 days, on Friday. Yeah, I found out on Friday that I get an entire month off. Thankfully paid at half my salary, because all the schools in Japan, elementary school, junior high school, English schools, all canceled right now.
Oh my god!
For the month of March, and at this very moment, cleaning, sanitary supplies are running out really fast. I was going around to get some. I was going to the dollar store to get myself some shampoo and some other bathroom supplies, and I find that all the medical masks are gone, have run out, and all the toilet paper has run out for some reason. I mean, all the toilet, man, no toilet paper, and apparently the only way, I currently looked up on Amazon Japan right now. And all the medical masks have been their prices have been jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only get I don't know, maybe $50 for only 10 masks. And granted, and keep in mind, these are sort of those one-time use only kind of sort of masks. So it'd be I don't know, $80, $90, $100 for I don't know, 20 masks, I suppose.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and the whole thing, it's everyone's really afraid of the coronavirus. Everyone is afraid to travel. People are thinking are wanting to postpone, if not cancel, the Summer Olympics here in Tokyo.
Jeez.
And the government doesn't want to do that because they've invested too much at this point. Bless you. The government has invested way too much money into the Tokyo Olympics for them to want to cancel it. Japan's economy is already kind of going downhill, and they were kind of riding off of the success of this thing. But given how everyone's too paranoid to travel, except the Chinese apparently, they're still like there's no guarantee that people would still want to come despite selling out their tickets. But yeah, man, it's mass hysteria.
Yep, the cats and dogs are already living together, and even the velociraptors are being roomies with the brachiosaurs.
Right.
No.
And even weirder, I don't know, L-Man will actually start watching WWE and, buy a 2 years worth of subscription to the WWE network. We know that'll never happen, but...
We're talking crazy talk now.
Weird.
Wait.
Yeah.
Now for context, are we talking regular crazy or beyond Oni crazy?
It's L-Man, you tell me.
Flip a coin. Oh, what's that, Steve? He's trying to say something.
We're live right now.
Dan says, at the risk of sounding tasteless, but with coronavirus on the rise, I wonder if plague doctor masks will come back in style.
Oh, no.
That'd be
Do not
something.
give the FPP community any more baggage they already have. Thank you.
Let's be honest. It's like with the whole. I think kind of the plague doctor mask has sort of come in style with the whole steampunk thing coming on, and I tend to see that sort of mixed in with it. So I can see it happening.
My God.
Aaron Izzard's in the chat. How you doing, buddy? To answer Dan's question, what's Oni got against AEW? I think your better question is what hasn't he got against it?
Young Bucks.
That's a loaded question we don't need to get into.
Yeah.
Trust me, I can go to full blown details since I'm the main one who sees all of his rants. It rhymes with Brung and it rhymes with Brung and Lux, and I'll give you a second to figure that out.
I think I got it. I listened to his rants and I understand his rant, so it's fine.
Gwyn says, good evening from the United States. Good evening, Miss Gwyn.
So,
Dan says, hey MJ, I was wondering if you heard about the upcoming AEW action figures. I have heard of them. Ringside Collection is releasing a special Chris Jericho that comes with a craft service table and is little bit of the bubbly champagne.
Yeah.
Dear. Steven says more like the hazmat suits. Ooh.
That's certainly going to come in style.
He goes on to say, sure, the women's division is weak, but it's still better than what the WWE is shoveling these days. I'll have to take your word for that.
Yeah. I can tell you the women's division in AEW is getting a little bit more footing, even though the main champion is still a little green around the edges, especially with last night.
We'll get into WWE Super Showdown only because the event has become somewhat controversial after what some of the other WWE shows out in the Middle East. Just look up what happened at Crown Jewel last year, and that'll tell the tale.
mechanical issue.
First up, I'm just going to say this right now. Goldberg winning against The Fiend Bray Wyatt sold that 2 universes away. I'm like, they're really not going to put the bet on Goldberg. One spear and jackhammer slam later. Goldberg is the Universal Champion, and then the next night sets up a fight with Roman Reigns. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
We're done here. We're done.
I was saying to the guys before we went live, it shows you how desperate they are when they have to tempt a Hall of Famer like Goldberg out of retirement once again just to headline WrestleMania. But given the lackluster card and the fact they've had to entice John Cena just to face Bray Wyatt, whom he faced at WrestleMania 30 6 years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, that match wasn't all that great anyway.
Nope.
It was not.
I think the only the two best matches of the night, one of them sadly was Lesnar versus The Undertaker, and the other was the triple threat match for the then undisputed WWE Championship between Orton, Batista, and everybody's favorite yes man, Daniel Bryan. But from what I'm looking at with regards to what they're doing for WrestleMania this year, I love to join in with you guys, whenever we do these Skype and Discord hangouts where we're just riffing on matches, but I'm debating whether or not to even purchase the network again just for a month, because I'm looking at the card in the last few weeks.
Honestly, not even worth it.
No. Unless they could guarantee me, let's use this as an example. If you could guarantee me a tag team match where it's Trish Stratus and Lita versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the women's tag team titles, I'll be like, okay, I'll sign myself up to the network. Or, completely unlikely, but this was a missed opportunity during the Attitude Era, imagine for the tag team titles, the New Age Outlaws versus The Rock and Austin.
Ooh.
That would have been something. Or, if they bring Stone Cold back to finally have that missed opportunity, to have a fight with Brock Lesnar at the King of the Ring in 2002, not a qualifier match. You put Stone Cold in a King of the Ring qualifier on regular TV. That'd be like, let me think of this. That'd be like summoning Dragonzord just to stomp a putty. It'd be like, really? It's like, that's pathetic. Or have an episode on Buffy where someone yells vampire and it's really just a bat. Not a vampire bat, just a bat, and Buffy's looking at Ving. Really?
Do I look like a damn exterminator?
Well, technically she is. She does, rid the night of the undead.
Vampire without vampire bats. She's not pest control, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, Spike could be a pest on occasion, but that's for a different context.
Yeah, but she never exterminated him, even though she really, really wanted to.
Well, no, she wouldn't exterminate him after a while because she found him for other uses that I'm not going to go talking about in this podcast.
Yeah, that's season 6 spoilers, but okay.
It's not really a spoiler, considering it's been, nearly 20 years?
I know, but depends on who hasn't seen it, like a younger generation who hasn't seen the show.
If you're like the young, you can't watch that until you're about 15, 16. No. It's like, Mommy, what was Spike doing with Buffy? She was injured, and he was tending to her. Yes, and a 11-year-old's like, bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one episode in that season where, you're going to have to explain that to kids. What the hell's going on? Because it involves sexual assault, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Ugh. But it's only because he developed an obsession over her, which is just like, Spike, is there something you'd like to tell us? Sorry, folks, I'm still dealing with my own cold, which doesn't seem to be taking the hint anytime soon. This is nearly going on for about 4 weeks now. Great.
Hope it ain't CV.
Yeah. Sean goes, you could always kill the ones from Twilight. Don't try and tease me.
No. You get me a sledgehammer and frigging a lighter fluid, I think we're fine.
As long as she, deals with Edward first. I'm sorry. It's nothing against Robert Pattinson. It's just that character.
Oh God, no. I don't know who was worse in that series, Edward or Bella, because Bella was the worst in that series.
Especially in New Moon. It's so insufferable.
Oh God, she becomes and the fact is that what is the deal? Why are these vampires fighting over? Why are these people fighting over this vapid teenage whore? Because you cannot convince me that she's not a whore, okay? No.
Well, that was
We're off track again.
That was a thing I could never get from the first movie is Edward's kind of sending out these signs like, look, this is doomed to fail. We don't really go together. And then you get Jacob, who's actually very chill and actually easygoing, actually cares about Bella, but Bella just wanted to go after the one that's all deep, dark, brooding, mysterious, and obviously has some sort of issues. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, and people are going crazy over these movies. Why?
Yeah, considering the fact that the woman who wrote these books, or no, I'm thinking E.L. James. My bad, because E.L. James wrote the 50 Shades series inspired by Twilight fan fiction, which is like
I heard about that via
I'm sorry, but it does come through, like Bella's like this Mary Sue. She's perfect. Like she's a little klutzy and whatever. I don't know. It reads like bad fan fiction.
Ugh. I remember my brother saying to me at the time, one of the very few times he would ever pay me a compliment, he goes something to the effect of, this shit is so bad that you could write something better. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna store that compliment in this pocket. I'm gonna hold on to it. It's like, it's one of the very few times I'll get something like that from you. Aaron Izzard says the only character in that franchise was Bella's dad, and
Mustache Dad was the best.
he was also the one who played the wolf in Red, that live action Red Riding Hood. Oh, that's a...
Oh God.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
I heard
That
that
was directed by the director of the first Twilight movie.
It was.
Let's put that where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that trend where fairy tales was turning into dark stuff. I mean, original fairy tales are dark itself, but hey, they got to give it the Hollywood treatment. Now, off topic, the only one that did pretty well, in my honest opinion, and honestly, I wish I mentioned this in the end of year panel, was Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Right, that was like a very late one.
Yeah. Despite bad reviews, I thought it was really good. I mean, the beginning started out as like the story, and then he has a cool twist where they become witch hunters and save kids.
By the way, did you know that there was a new one that came out this month or last month or in January? I think it was called Gretel and Hansel.
I heard about that. I know it starred one of the girls that played Beverly in the new It.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that kind of threw me off with the Red Riding Hood movie is where Red's character, I forget what she was actually called in that. Her father comes along later, says, "Oh, I need to pass this family legacy on to you. It's just one bite." I'm like, okay, hold up a second. Your daughter, who you're able to communicate with telepathically because because she's related to you, you want to pass on the curse of lycanthropy onto her, even though she's still human. I look at them and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? It's like,
put him in the same category that William Birkin is in. And for people who don't know who William Birkin is, Resident Evil 2 is your friend.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, Okay, here's the explain. Okay, I know I'm spoiling, but this game came out like a couple of years back, and they had a reboot last year. But okay, after one playthrough where Sherry Birkin, who is Birkin Sam, and let's just say after when William was mutated after taking the G virus, let's just say he passed it on to, and that's how far deep the hole I'm going to dig after saying that. Let's just go with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman was another one of those dark fantasy fairy tales.
Also starring Kristen Stewart. Yeah.
Didn't they come out with a sequel like years later?
I think
I
so.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
did.
totally forgot about that.
Huntsman Winter's War that had Emily Blunt in it.
Not Elsa from Frozen.
The only thing I can the only thing I can say about Kirsten Stewart that's positive is she's cute, and those are where the positives end, because I don't think she's that capable an actress. She doesn't have any range with her regards.
What about Charlie's Angels, MJ?
Nobody cares about that
loved
shit.
her. Everyone loved her in that movie.
Nobody went to see
Everyone
it.
saw that movie, right?
Right.
Don't call me Angel. Shut the hell up. I'm sorry. I never watched the movie, but I've seen highlights in it. That music video with Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, and I forgot the other chick. But
Lana Del Rey.
thank you. Yeah. Don't call me Angel. What's the point then? Come on.
And Aaron Izzard says now they're remaking the Huntsman film. Well, that's another movie I won't go watch.
I'll probably check that out, because a lot of people don't know this. Out of all fairy tale characters, Huntsman's kind of sort of my favorite because of like how versatile he is with any weapon. So I'll definitely check it out. You know.
Oh dear. Stephen Walker goes, Kerry Robotic, Kaiju, nobody cares! Oh. I'm glad he's kind of segue into this, because with what I'm about to show from this video that I was watching off the quartering the other day, I don't know whether to laugh because it's so bad that it has to be a parody, or have to sit down. Oh no, this is from Yellow Flash 2, beg your pardon. Or to sit down and say, you know, on a psychiatrist's couch and reenact my thoughts and opinions with sock puppets. Because shit is about to get weird. And for context, not the good type of weird.
When is shit ever not weird, MJ?
Point taken. But yeah, this is
just looking at that headline, that thumbnail.
Puritans want Sonic the Hedgehog to push agenda, want romance with tails.
Yes, finally!
Oh, Lord.
Just what we've always wanted.
I'll wait till y'all are at 0-0.
I'm at 0-0.
Hang on. Have to sit through an ad. Give me a second.
Sure.
All right, I'm at 0.
Raiden?
Yep, I'm at 0.
3, 2, 1, play.
What's going on, everybody? It's Monday. We're almost out of February. So there's that. We're getting very close to spring, which I'm happy about. I cannot wait to get out of winter. I hate winter. I think most people probably agree with that. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I hate cold weather. But anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog doing very well. Had a really good weekend, 26 million. Beat Call to the Wild barely, though. Barely. They actually put up some stiff competition on him, which is surprising because Call of the Wild looks pretty cringy. I'd rather see Sonic. Now, I can't say if Call of the Wild's bad. I haven't seen it. And to be honest, I have no intentions to see that movie.
Me neither.
Could care less. But
They
it
turned
did
the
put up
dog
a little bit of
CGI.
competition for
I don't
Sonic.
care.
So that's really kind of the big news. Birds of Prey not doing very well either. What are they at? So they're at number 3.
Shocker!
Almost 2 million for Friday. 3 million. Sonic, though, pulling in 12 and 7. But if you look here, Call of the Wild still kind of kept up with him pretty good. So Sonic's doing pretty good. Actually, the really impressive thing here is Sonic is actually sitting at 200 million now worldwide. So not just the domestic gross, it's doing well. It's doing well globally. It's sitting at 200 million. I think that's pretty impressive that it's sitting at 200 million after 2 weeks. Poor old Harley though, she's chugging along. She's getting there. They're at 173 million. So I think that movie might have made its money back. Maybe it's not flopping so bad as we all thought. But Sonic taking the trophy there, 200 million so far, doing pretty good. But as usual, when we have nice things that people like, you know, the weird kind of, NPCs, Puritans, they want to take it for themselves. They want to have that. So they need to take the normies fun stuff, and they need to inject some of that degeneracy, some of that NPC into it, and they need to add an agenda in there. The agenda's got to come, or it's just not good entertainment, you know? How else are we going to change the minds of people unless we put agendas, politics, all that garbage in every single piece of entertainment? So naturally, they start trying to claim it for themselves, and we see articles like this pop up.
Yeah.
Why we think Sonic should and will be happy. Of course, I'm saying the definition of that word there. Sonic the Hedgehog has a history of romance, though he's never
What in the hell?
interested in
Yep.
women. Instead,
They're
Sonic
serious,
should
apparently.
become an LG.
What?
I am shocked. Shocked.
Really, really weird article from The Gamer. Don't really know anything about this website. Seems just like another run-of-the-mill
what?
Kotaku Polygon trash website. If they're putting out
No.
stuff like
Thank
this.
you, Fry.
So now we're discussing who anamorphic animals are hooking up with. Maybe the author is into the furry stuff. I don't know. Don't know. Don't care. What I can tell you about this whole pitch that they're doing here, though, not going to happen. Sega is a pretty traditional Japanese company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have any plans of hooking Sonic up with anybody. But just for fun, let me show you this article a little bit here.
Oh, no.
He's never been that interested in Amy. So they point out that Amy, if you don't know, who's like not around too much, she made her debut in Sonic CD. Very, very underrated game if you've never played it.
Because Amy's
Really,
a
really
psycho.
Really interesting
And
story
technically a
too
stalker.
on Sonic CD and Sonic
Ew.
2 because they were both being developed as Sonic 2. Of course, Sonic CD
Oh,
became
nice
Sonic CD,
nice photo
and then
selection.
Sonic 2 became Sonic 2, but it's actually a really interesting story on how that came about. Like, basically, two creators of Sonic, they went separate ways. One developed Sonic CD, one developed Sonic 2, so on and so on. But anyway, that's not the story of this video. So Amy, getting friend-zoned, they say, and they say, well, why don't we put him in with Tails? Him and Tails have chemistry. Why don't we hook him up with Knuckles? You have a love triangle. No one wants to watch this. Okay? No one wants to watch this. No one wants to play a game with this kind of story. Who cares?
And Tails is more like a
People
little
want a movie
brother
like
to
the
him.
Sonic movie we got.
Yeah,
They want to
okay.
see him
Minute.
have a menage a trois with Tails and Knuckles. But this is what these people think about. How Sonic should be hooking up with dudes and other dude animals. I mean, come on. I mean, why don't you care about the story? This is all these people give a
Exactly.
shit about. And it's just like, No one else does. No one cares. But hey, maybe if we infect it with some SJW stuff, then we can say it's ours. Because that's the thing, right?
Bringing
We
out his
claim
inner
it. The
Oni there by
normies
the
have
sounds of
claimed
things.
And taking it back, we own it. But of course, these NPCs, these Puritans, these blue check marks, they wanted Birds of Prey to be the winner. That didn't happen. They tried so hard to make that movie massive success. It failed. Then they tried to review bomb Sonic the Hedgehog to save Birds of Prey. That failed. So what do they do now? Well, maybe we can infuse it with our agenda and we'll take it back from the normie. I can tell you right now that's not going to happen because of Sega. No matter what Paramount has as far as rights to make movies, I guarantee you Sega has say over what they plan on doing with the character. And if they say, hey, we want to have Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic do some butt stuff, they're going to say no. No, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no.
And it'll get shot down, and we'll just get a normal movie. Of course, we also have the Washington Post praising the shipping community.
Mental pictures.
And this is what we need to do. So, say, Sonic the Hedgehog's breakout star talks shipping and diversity in the country's biggest movie.
Shipping community.
Now, here's the thing about Sonic the Hedgehog that a lot of movies don't do right. It actually did diversity pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we had different groups in there. Agent Stone here. The wife of the main character.
Tika Sumpter.
And so on and so on. But you know what was good about it?
Gorgeous, I might add.
You know what really worked about the way this movie did it? It wasn't a big deal. They didn't call attention to it.
No.
They just told the story.
Yep.
If anything, Sonic did it right. But see, the thing is with these people, with these blue checks and all these people, is when you do a movie with diversity or a game with diversity, that has to be a central part of the story. It needs to be its own story in the story. You need to call attention to it, praise it, talk about it, put a sign up.
Good
like
for
you
them.
literally need to have another character with an arrow, or like an arrow sign pointing at the other character and draw attention to it. That's the only way that it's done right with these people because they don't know how to do anything creatively. Sonic did do it pretty good. They just told the story. That was it. That's all people want. Good stories.
Yeah, just
good
go
entertainment.
gay,
You got
gay,
it. But of course,
gay.
instead of
Do we
talking
mention
about
gay?
that in this article, and they do kind of mention that a little bit, they
And for
praise
context,
the
folks,
shipping community.
Lydia is
Talk about
bisexual.
how
She
Agent
doesn't
Stone
like to be
and
pandered
Robotnik
to.
could have more.
Yeah, I don't like being pandered to
than
by
just a
both
professional
sides. This
relationship.
is stupid.
So of course, we got to
Or
praise
do
the shippers.
you?
Shippers are the future.
No.
Remember the Raylos, how the media went.
Nah, I'm
Also,
just kidding.
yeah,
the greatest
I'm
thing since
the
sliced
shipping
bread and
community is
defended
really
them,
bad. Like
kinda-
with every
kinda brushed
fandom, I'm
their
sorry,
garbage
just
under a
it
rug
gets
and
really,
didn't talk
really
about it, like all
friggin'
the
annoying.
threats that they gave. Adam Driver.
Like I
and Adam
participate in the
Driver's wife,
Ruby community,
because
and
they
that's
wanted
frustrating
Adam
in itself.
Driver
Oh
to
god!
really be in a
So I've
real life
heard.
couple. With,
Don't
with
attack
Ray,
Bumblebee. I
Daisy
like
Ridley,
No.
Bumblebee. So
because
Bumblebee
these
was
people are
loved.
obsessed
No.
with Ray and Kylo Ren hooking up. So we got
no,
have
you
the
you
real
probably don't
actor
get what
and
I'm
actresses
meaning.
hook up.
Bumblebee's a
We can
ship
really
on that
discuss
on that
Oh,
series.
right.
Really
Beg
good
your
video
pardon.
on that, by the way. Just search Raylo
Yeah.
on my channel.
No, worry.
You'll find it.
Oh, the Raylo
video.
shippers. Fuck you!
Oh, no.
Now we need to praise this community.
Don't
You
even
know,
get me
these-
started on the
these
Raylo
shippers.
shippers.
They used to be confined to Tumblr, and then Tumblr went down. So now they've spilled out into all the other social medias. They used
I
to be
think
a
I got the
confined
perfect image
problem
for
in their
this.
little safe space, and now they've just
What
went
are you
everybody's.
doing?
Now we all have to deal with shippers.
I'm doing what
So the Washington
I'm doing the
Post
best I
praising shippers,
can.
calling them basically the
You're already
true
gay.
fans of the movie, which is disgusting. So,
My
you
one.
know, they want to take the movie back. The fact that the movie's doing so well, now we need to put a little bit of garbage into it, take it from the normie. Let's put a little bit of identity politics in there, so on and so on, and let's make it a true, virtuous, progressive movie. It's not going to happen. Sorry to tell you that Sega is a very Japanese company, and I highly doubt they would ever sign off on
Although
shipping
Sega was actually
Tails
founded
and
by
Sonic in the
an
movie.
American
So
soldier.
forget about it. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
They can try.
Because Sega's
They'll
actually
fail.
an abbreviation
So
of
now the
Service
media
Games.
is going to switch it around, try to claim the movie as theirs. And it's going to be funny to watch them fall on their face when they realize that Sega has to sign off on stuff, and there's no way they'll ever sign off on Tails hooking up with Sonic. Not going to happen. Sorry. Going to be funny to watch you whine about it. So that's going to be the new push. Then we have the shippers. I'm sure that community will be getting a lot of love. You already see the Washington Post giving them love.
Kind of reminds me of my
So
whole
that'll be
whole
funny
thing
to
when I
cover when that becomes a
talked
big
about
thing. But anyway,
racism
Sonic's
and
still
Black
doing
Panther
good, still
all those
making
years
money.
ago.
The NPC are trying to take it for themselves, but I don't see it working. Sonic is going to stay family friendly. I'm sure of it. So anyway, that is pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about Sonic making $200 million? What do you think about the NPCs trying to claim the movie, making it theirs after they failed to destroy it? Let me know your thoughts on that. Throw a like up if you would. Share the video. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, he just goes on at that point. Right, let's see the comments.
Oh my god, the first one. Just a reminder, Tails is an 8-year-old child. Yikes.
Sean, you are made of stupid. Damn it, Kaiju, stop encouraging them. I got an agenda for the NPCs. Shut the fuck up. Dan, it could be worse. It could be worse, MJ. Ever heard of the porn parody based off the film Sonic the Hedgehog? No, I am. I ain't watching that. No way.
No. Only trying to make me sit through the
Rule 34 takes Rule 34 takes no prisoners, baby.
Aaron goes, where the hell do these lecherous ghouls come from? Are they born like it, or is it like the mood sign? They're just constructs of people's dark impulses. Steven says Amy is a crazy yonder stalker. Sean says Sonic and Tails are pretty much brothers, as I just said. Steve says, I hereby decree no SJW agendas in popular media. If only that's simple. Steven says, that's how a movie should come down to storytelling. Steven says, so am I and Jay. Raylo was forced by Disney. Kaiju, what did you do? I'm referring to the picture. And the so am I comment was in reference to what Lid said. Now, I originally heard...
The comment said, Sonic isn't interested in women. Cough. Sally Acorn cough.
Mm-hmm. And technically at one time, Fiona Fox as well.
Sonic movie succeeds. Pedophiles. This movie isn't diverse enough.
Yeah. That article has to be a parody. It has to be, because if they honestly believe that, it's just like, to quote JonTron, I have several questions. I mean, if they had a story set up where the two of them were both in their 20s, okay, it'd still feel weird with two characters that essentially grew up as brothers, but if you use the context of a story whereby, you know, it's not as creepy, then it's like, fine, but it's like, they've established in this movie continuity, Sonic is 13, 14, and best to my knowledge, Tails is about 8 to 10 when he shows up at the end. It's just like, no. Just no. There's a reason why they just say, not touching that. And if they're honestly that serious, then I would seriously suggest they go seek help. Because and I know Raiden will likely repeat this line later, but that's no good.
Mm-hmm.
There are several other things I could say that would sum up, why this is just so asinine. But like I say, it has to be a parody. Nobody is that crazy nor ludicrous to actually think that Sega would go for this, because what you got to keep in mind, Sega is a very Japanese company, and by extension, a very conservative company. They don't like the gays, big time. They are not gonna sign off on that, and also, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie series is family friendly. They're not going to put something as mature rated into a PG movie. The most you'd probably get, if that were to happen, is you'd probably just see two characters hug. And that is about as close as you would get to it, because, when you think family movie, people think good family values, a little bit of action, a little bit of suspense, but knows when to draw the line that says, this is your limit, do not exceed it. I mean, probably one of the examples you could go for, if you look at Jurassic Park, for example, you'll see dinosaurs tearing each other to pieces, but the moment it tries to go for a human, it either does it in a way where the camera framing is done in a way whereby the violence is toned down, or it's done off camera. Because note in Fallen Kingdom, alright, the merc got his arm ripped off, but was there blood pulsing out of it? Nope. Now, Random said that Universal pussed out on that, and I'm like, it's a 12, dude. It's a 12. They have limits. If it was like Roger Corman's, Carnosaur, then yeah, they go full on with the blood spurging, but they won't.
Nobody does that really these days.
No. Sonic is a family-friendly movie that appeals to everyone. Whether, you're of the group that grew up with him in the original games, or to kids that are just getting interested in the games at this stage. They're not going to put something, I don't want to say high risk, but they're not going to put something that's going to deviate from family friendly. I could go on, and I really don't want to. And I'm just going to leave it and say, they ain't going to do this. Because as the video said, Sega, get the last word on it, because at the end of the day, it's their product. If they don't want specific characteristics of a story or certain messages in, they'll be like, nope, you ain't putting that in. It's like, we don't care. It's our product. Don't like it, go elsewhere. Lids, go nuts.
Permit me for 1 second.
Well, damn.
We've had Oni Rage, now we've had Lydia Anger.
First of all, who wrote this article? Chris Chan? I'm sorry, because it feels like that's something Chris Chan would come up with in his sleep. I'm sorry. Really, we want to make Sonic gay, and we want to make him having a relationship with Tails. First of all, kind of registry.
Yeah.
You need to be introducing yourself to the neighborhood. Or Chris Hansen needs to be coming up in your door and saying, how are you doing today? Because that is completely disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm a member of the LGBTQ community. And the fuck is wrong with you people? Drugs are you smoking? Because I don't want any.
They're probably smoking the stuff that's so strong, not even Snoop Dogg wants anything of it.
Yeah. The point is, we don't need to push some kind of agenda that you guys have. You didn't want Sonic to succeed. Too bad. It succeeded. Birds of Prey bombed at the box. No, not bombed so much as it disappointed at the box office. Nobody wants to go see it. Because, again, like Charlie's Angels, you want to push that female agenda. That is annoying, and you need to stop that. Let it properly simmer. Don't ram it down our throats, or the audience is just going to walk away from that. And you want to say why female-led films fail? It's because you want to keep pushing that feminist agenda. Nobody wants it. You need to stop. I'm done.
Raiden.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that was the short through. I don't even know what the hell to say. It's just so asinine. I'm just like, are y'all mental? Well, no, because y'all read that article. Like, God damn. Nowadays, I feel nothing. I feel no raise but just laughter and pettiness. Because, good Lord, I could do this all day. Because this is stupid. Who wrote this is stupid. I know it says it twice, but doesn't look like I need to see it's called someone who barely lacks a brain stupid. Nope. So yeah, it's stupid. Sonic's doing well, and incels can't take it. So there you go.
Kaiju, any thoughts?
Really, what else is there to say about this? It's a family-friendly franchise. Of course, it's not going to happen. And really, with so few, I bet you, I'm like 99% sure this is just a vocal minority that shouldn't even be given any sort of attention whatsoever. So, really, what's the point in any of this? Clearly, this is just their means of screaming for attention in the most ludicrous way possible, and I'm not gonna give into that.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll count that as done.
And we get some eye bleach, please, because we need that.
Okay. Mark Ruffalo confirms talks for She-Hulk. After weeks of rumors that Mark Ruffalo could reprise his role as Bruce Banner, also known as the Hulk, for the She-Hulk series coming to the Disney Plus streaming service, Ruffalo has now confirmed the possibility. While he has not yet signed on for the show, which is expected to arrive on Disney Plus in 2021 at the earliest, he admitted during a panel at the C2E2 event in Chicago that he has had talks to join She-Hulk, continuing his tenure in the MCU, which began in 2012 with the Avengers, and most recently included a key role in Endgame. Comicbook.com's Jenna Anderson was in attendance of the panel at C2E2 in Chicago, where Ruffalo confirmed preliminary talks have happened for him to appear in the She-Hulk series. This is, of course, a solid change from just a few weeks ago when Ruffalo was uncertain whether or not the Hulk would appear in the MCU ever again. She-Hulk is expected to begin production this summer, so casting news might not be too far away. There is no word yet who will play the titular strong lawyer, whose real name is Jennifer Walters, just yet. Though She-Hulk Jennifer Walters will debut in the MCU on her own Disney Plus show, fans can expect the character to pop up in movies after the initial outing. Some characters we've announced, like She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight, you will meet for the first time on Disney Plus, and then they'll go into the movies, but the MCU will go back and forth. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige previously confirmed. Do you want to see Mark Ruffalo portray the Hulk in She-Hulk? Share your thoughts in the comment section or send them my way to Instagram and Twitter. Well, I can't say I'm too surprised, considering Banner is the catalyst for Jennifer becoming the She-Hulk, so I'm not, it was going to happen one way or the other, and it also makes me question how much involvement will he actually have, on the basis of, is he going to show up in there as his Professor Hulk persona, or is he actually going to dial it down to regular Banner level? Because they're not clear, which way that will go. And if he's, managed to slim down to his human form, then that will save money on budgeting. But if they're doing the 9-foot tall version of Professor Hulk, then there's going to be a fair bit of visual effects being put into that. So we'll see. I'd I'd still like to see another Hulk movie, but finally getting, say, a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, which turns 12 this June. On a personal level, I thought Edward Norton was unfairly ousted. That's just my take with it. I've got no personal beef with Mark Ruffalo, because at the end of the day, he's just doing his job. He got signed on. He's getting paid for it. But I felt like Norton could have really grown and expanded the character had he been kept on. But that's neither here nor there. Lids, your thoughts on the possibility of Ruffalo coming in to reprise his role?
I mean, it makes sense. If we're going to include... You can't include She-Hulk's backstory without having her cousin in there.
Oh.
So if that's the case, I'd say, hey, more power to him. Bring him in. It's fine. You don't have to keep him there the whole series. It's just at least 1 or 2 appearances would be okay. And I'm thinking that it would take place between that 5-year gap between Infinity War and Endgame, if you want to do it that way. If that's what you want to do. If you want to not waste so much money on CG, you can do it that way.
Yeah.
To be honest. And also, rumor I've been hearing is that, I don't know if you guys know this actress, but Alison Brie is kind of campaigning to want to be She-Hulk.
Okay.
All right, good. Neat. But, again, it'll still be interesting. Again, I need to see any kind of trailer or any kind of promotional art before I can make an opinion on anything right now.
Okay. Raiden?
Like what said, you can't have She-Hulk without the cousin, so I hope this happens. So, cause, yeah, I mean, you gotta have continuity, so, hopefully. I hope.
Kaiju?
Yeah, it's only natural to feature the Hulk and She-Hulk together, given how closely they are to get as familial, narrative-wise. It's just really, as a casual comic fan, I suppose, I don't know any other supporting characters, any other She-Hulk supporting characters other than the Hulk himself. And having grown up on the Hulk animated series from the 90s, I think the two of them, Jennifer Walters and Bruce Banner, work per their personality. They're sort of contrasting personalities, work wonderfully together, with the very free-spirited and outgoing Jennifer and the sort of shy and timid Bruce Banner. It's very nice to just have to see that on screen. And plus, I just want more fucking Hulk, damn it.
Yes. And also,
we haven't had a pure Hulk project, live action Hulk project since 2008. So I think we need to bring the Hulk in full time for this series.
Yeah. And also, just to extend further with what you said with regards to the animated series, Cree Summer killed it as She-Hulk.
Fuck yeah.
That's probably my more favorite incarnation. I liked the one that they had in the 82 series, but And this is the thing I pointed out with the 17th anniversary retrospective. One does not regrow their clothes when they go down from Hulk mode to human mode. It's just like, that's not how physics work, and that's why you hold the sign up saying, physics, what's that? I thought I'd get more of a laugh, but never mind. But yeah. It sounds good for what they got planned for the series, so... And of course, we're still staying on the subject of Disney a moment. This is with the standing down of Bob Iger.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing that happened recently.
Bob Iger got Disney into the streaming wars, so what happens once he's gone? With a new CEO in place, all eyes are on Disney's crown jewel. Between 2006 and now, Disney spent around $100 billion to become the unbeatable giant it is today, snapping up Pixar, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, BAMTech, and 21st Century Fox. Whilst the acquisitions were made as a result of teamwork across a number of divisions, they were mostly led by two people, Bob Iger, who was CEO up until Tuesday, and Kevin Mayer, head of Disney's direct-to-consumer division and the man in charge of all things streaming. Now with Iger preparing to leave by the end of 2021, all eyes are on what comes next for Mayer. Mayer helped Disney develop Disney's current streaming landscape and was largely seen as the company's heir apparent. So it came as a surprise to many when Disney announced its parks head, Bob Chapek, would be the next CEO.
I think Chapek?
Chapek, sorry. I don't know how you would pronounce it. Mayer knows streaming better than anyone besides Iger, certainly better than Chapek, who's never worked with a direct-to-consumer vertical. Disney needs to chart a smooth course as competition heats up, its global rollout continues, and it builds out Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and even Hulu. Oh, I didn't know they owned Disney. I didn't know Disney owned them. But with Iger leaving and Chapek getting the CEO position, there's a growing concern around one big question. What happens if Mayer leaves? A former Disney executive told The Verge that anytime there is a CEO transition, where it's a formal or informal breakup, the losers in the bake-off tend to leave. It's happened before. In 1994, former Walt Disney Studios head Jeffrey Katzenberg, now head of Quibi, though he would become second in command to then CEO Michael Eisner, and therefore in the running for CEO. Instead, he was passed over in the wake of former Chief Operating Officer Frank Wells' death, and left the company months later. In 2016, Tom Staggs, a Chief Financial Officer turned Parks head around and Chief Operating Officer, left when it was made clear he wasn't going to be CEO. My guess is that he won't stay, the executive told The Verge. My recommendation is they do whatever they possibly can to keep him. Disney's streaming strategy is off to a strong start, but the company has already hit some major roadblocks. Production issues have affected a few high-profile original shows. Executive changes are occurring at Hulu. Product teams are still being integrated throughout BAMTech as teams work on ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, and perhaps most importantly, Disney Plus's identity is still being formed. Iger and Mayer are the best people in the know on what comes next, but Iger won't be at Disney in 22 months' time. Disney's new CEO doesn't have experience with streaming, and it's an area that Iger has routinely called the future of the company. It's not a self-running autonomous paradise yet, like many other parts of Disney have become. The first problem is building out a steady stream of shows for Disney Plus. One of Disney's Plus most anticipated Star Wars series, an Obi-Wan spin-off, is facing major rewrites and delays. There were rumors that Hawkeye, a series based on Jeremy Renner's Avengers character, was facing production issues, although Disney representatives told me the show is still on schedule, and outside of Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar originals, there are only 3 other scripted Disney Plus originals in development. A Proud Family reboot, a Turner and Hooch series, why? And a Mighty Ducks spin-off. While Disney is trying to fix those issues, there also seems to be confusion over what is a Disney Plus title and what belongs on Hulu. Two series originally produced for Disney Plus, High Fidelity and Love Victor, moved to Hulu after being considered inappropriate for Disney's PG audience. A third show, Lizzie McGuire, is undergoing similar issues, according to the former showrunner. Actress Hilary Duff hinted at ongoing problems with the show, whose production is currently stalled, similar to Love Victor. Production issues are unavoidable, and cementing an identity takes time. It took HBO a long time to become the version of the HBO people know the network as today, but Disney's streaming division is far from being in a state of smooth sailing, despite the company seeing massive subscriber growth on Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+. Hours before Disney announced Chapek as the new CEO, Hulu instead instated a new CEO as well. It's dizzying to try to keep track of it all. While with Iger not planning to stick around for too much longer, Mayer is one of the only people at the executive level with a firm understanding of what needs to happen next, ensuring that Mayer, who has overseen the acquisitions of every major Disney franchise and has handled the launch of every streaming product, stays is seen by some as crucial. It's a fact that Disney's board is keenly aware, according to Brian Stafford, CEO of Diligent, a leader in the corporate governance. It takes more than one executive to run the business, Stafford said. The board is going to try and do whatever they can to retain the most strategic executives. You always worry about resignations of executives after a succession. I would be shocked if the board didn't have many conversations just about talent and what the talent looks like and what the opportunities are. This is among the most important decision the board will make. The colloquial, I hope I pronounced that right.
Colloquial.
Beg your pardon. Streaming wars are just heating up. Disney is one of the biggest players in the space. Disney Plus is set to launch in the UK and other territories in just a few weeks. And Disney is looking to add a significant batch of new subscribers on top of the stunningly impressive 28 million it secured domestically. The company is trying to bring its streaming platforms to international markets. That includes Hulu and ESPN+. Mayer Stacks lacks a layer of qualities that Chapek has when it comes to being CEO. He never managed a big team up until recently. He doesn't have much operational experience. He didn't work in the programming divisions, and he has a reputation for being brash. He's also regarded, however, as someone who sees potential where others don't. Former Marvel Studios chairman David Maisel told the Wall Street Journal in 2019, Kevin got it when most everyone still didn't. When Disney completed its acquisition of 21st Century Fox, Iger told investors on a call that the deal wouldn't be possible without Kevin's unbelievably hard work. It's not like Disney is suddenly going to start doing poorly. Disney is in fantastic shape, but again, streaming is a marathon, not a sprint. Iger is sticking around to help Chapek learn the ropes of being a CEO, and also focusing more heavily on creative products. That's good, but having someone like Mayer who can continue running Disney's streaming division the way he and Iger planned for years, is crucial to building the empire even more. That is a lot to unfold with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Considering, as it's been pointed out, Iger's, pretty much been one of the men to hold everything together after the previous CEO left. So, and he's leaving this soon with somebody who doesn't have the experience.
Right, and someone who's mainly known for providing budget cuts on theme park attractions. He was the guy apparently that was in charge of creating Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which was originally planned to be a land in Disneyland with 3 attractions and tons of costume characters and animatronics galore, into basically a shopping district with 2 attractions, no costume characters, and at the time, no animatronics characters whatsoever.
Damn.
Well, I will say, having actually been to Galaxy's Edge during the holidays, It's really beautiful to look at, to feel, to experience. Although it is, I can definitely see younger children having problems with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge because they just want to ride the rides. And at the time that I was there, there was only one ride, and now a second ride opened, but that's been having a lot of operational issues. But I just wanted to mention that it's just like being in there and absorbing the ambiance, the Star Wars ambiance and atmosphere is great. But yeah, you can definitely outside of the shops, it's gonna be really boring for kids. But yeah, the guy is a theme park guy, so I really don't know how much of a priority streaming is for him. And I really do think that having tried Disney Plus for the first time when I was in America, it is a really great service. However, it has still yet to come out in Japan, and I really wanted to because I keep recommending The Mandalorian to my students to watch, and they can't get access to it. Damn it!
Oh,
Raiden, what are your thoughts on what just transpired?
Yeah, like you said, it's a mouthful. So I'm like, I think after this, I'm just hoping they get the right person to run it, because I don't know. I've heard some things about Bob Iger, and kind of like have the down. He was kind of sort of the problem, especially in the Disney Channel aspect, because of the fact like a lot of shows wasn't popular to watch. I'm just hoping, for someone else to step up and do more things that was prominent back in the day. Instead of using new mindset, instead of just doing old school stuff and just, I guess, catering to audiences that really doesn't care about the things that a lot of us watch. So that's my whole stance on the thing.
Lids.
I mean, yeah. Again, the streaming wars have been a bit of an issue right now. I feel like that. Yeah, it's going to get affected even more. And with Iger leaving, it's going to be interesting because I think he was one of the full forces behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and not sure how that's going to be affecting it. And I honestly don't know. But as I've always said, it's always wait and see, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then this is going to suck, especially the fact that I've heard a lot of good things about Disney Plus. It's like not only got like regular old school programming, but the new stuff that I've heard about it, non-MCU related, is actually interesting. But again, we shall see what happens.
Kaiju, do you have anything to add to what you just said, or what you just said pretty much it?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen during this transition. I mean, like, even though Bob Iger was essentially one of Michael Eisner's best buds, he essentially ran the company slightly differently than Michael Eisner, and improved the company in some ways, and also sort of tarnishing its reputation in others. So I can only assume what Bob Chapek is going to, what his run as Disney CEO is going to turn out. And apparently there are rumors around that even though Bob Iger said that this was all planned from the beginning, apparently, he is not emotionally in the best of states right now. And it seems to me that all his, like, what was it, $100 billion of spending, apparently in the long... Oh, you read it from the article itself. Apparently, they haven't gotten a return on their investment in any of the purchases they've gotten, especially from Star Wars. Star Wars, they spend like $4 billion, and so given all the spending that they've made on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, on the sequel trilogies, on the spin-off movies, on the Mandalorian, on the merchandising, apparently in the roughly 5, 6, 7 years that they've owned Marvel, that they've bought Star Wars, they haven't received a return on their investment, and that seems to be the case in all of Disney's purchases. So I can see why Disney would want to kick Bob Iger to the curb, saying like, "You're spending too goddamn much money here. You're making our business bigger, but it ain't making us richer."
I mean, especially, the only one that could be seen as like the crown jewel of their acquisitions within the last decade was Marvel Studios.
Right.
Because they've done extremely well. Although I did ask this question to my brother a while back. Would Marvel Studios still be flourishing
if they were still with Paramount?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said that Marvel Studios would have been doing better had they not been bought up by Disney, because they would have had less limitations on them. Because one of Disney's things is, when coming into the House of Mouse, you're not allowed to have much like excessive blood or too many like questionable jokes in there. Because I think if you look at, say, Iron Man 1 and 2 versus Iron Man 3, Iron Man 3 is way more jokey, and just a lot more campy humor. Whereas you look at the first Iron Man 1, there's a lot of serious stuff in there with regards to war and what have you, and you don't see so much of that in Iron Man 3. Although the only thing you can sort of have like reference to is like the Mandarin being the leader of the Ten Rings that was out in Afghanistan, which is a nice callback to the first movie. But I did notice that kind of tonal shift between that movie as opposed to its two predecessors. It looked like a very, the first two Iron Man movies were very character driven, where Stark is the main focus, but then you look at Iron Man 3, there's a lot of distracting factors and elements that were brought in. And one of the elements that a lot of people were vocal about was, it's like, okay, you've got the Iron Patriot, but where's Norman Osborn? Because that is technically a Spider-Man product. But then in turn, the Iron Patriot's no more than a rip-off of War Machine and Iron Man, respectively. But comic book fans are extremely passionate, and extremely vocal. And I remember in 2013, when Random saw that originally, he's just like, what is this fuckery I'm seeing on my screen? And I'm sort of upstairs going, oh no. He had a lot of choice words for that. I mean, it's a fitting title for Rhodey, because he is a patriot, but he was already cool as War Machine. So, and let's not even get started on the way they screwed the Mandarin up in that movie. Ugh. I've been vocal enough in the last 7 years since that movie came out. It's just like, I dug what they did with Tony. Really expanded and gave him a decent conclusive arc with regards to his solo series. The suits were decent, but the rest of the movie was just a complete throwaway. But, that's my take on it. Lids, we didn't get...
There was Disney Plus canceling a project called a spin-off of the movie Love, Simon, because it wasn't family-friendly enough. And I do like the memes that came from that. Like, for example, Thor cut off Thanos' head. Yeah, no.
Yeah. The only problem was he cut his head off far too late by that point.
Sorry.
Never got to you with this, Lid. What do you make about with the changes that they're making?
Oh no, I already said my piece.
Beg your pardon.
No, it's fine.
But I will direct that question as well to you, though. Would Marvel have been flourishing more so under Paramount if they had not gone with Disney?
Probably. I mean, Paramount. Okay, despite how divisive the fans are, Paramount and Transformers did pretty well.
Yes.
So, I mean, I feel like they would do a little bit more better and not just like overdo everything that Disney is doing now with some of the films, you know. So I feel like it will just have Marvel flourish more instead of just not going super diverse, crazy, or woke. You know, the stuff that your brother hates to his deadly passion.
Oh yeah, I hear about a lot when, especially, I might be upstairs just like doing edits or doing writing stuff, and then I'll hear from downstairs, "Hey, Dad, what?" And I'm like, I heard it. Time to play some music. La 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 la.
This is awkward.
Yeah, there are times where, you'd think with the headset on, I'd be able to drown it out. I still hear little bits going on, and I think, oh, good lord, we're doing this evening. Okay, and most of the time, I find it's just a lot easier just to let him vent, let him get it out of his system. Think Diet Oni. If Oni's on one, just let him, go Vegeta nuclear rage, and it's like, do you feel better, Oni? Yes, I do, actually. Would you like some pizza? Yes, I would like some pizza. Now have a Snickers, because you're never yourself when you're hungry. Cheap product placement there. Thank you very much. Kaiju, same question to you. Would Marvel Studios be doing better, the same, or worse if they'd stuck with Paramount and not be bought out by Disney?
It's possible that they would have still done the movies that they could have done, but maybe just not on that grand of a scale. Only because I'm not sure if Paramount would be able to provide the same amount of funding Disney would have. But then again, Paramount was also responsible for the Transformers movies, if I'm to be correct.
Yep.
So maybe they could have still made their movies either way. Just maybe not without the... Because, like, when it comes to Transformers, a lot of the marketing is probably on Hasbro's part. And I think Hasbro also does Marvel stuff, if I'm correct.
Yep.
But then again, at the same time, I'm not sure if a lot of that marketing would have still been as prevalent without Disney's backing. So I feel like maybe it still would have been successful. Maybe not as successful, but pretty damn successful.
All right. Okay.
I'm still a little mad that after Disney bought Marvel, they canceled Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, don't get me started. And also, for the love of the good Lord above, don't go to Adam. So what about Spectacular Spider-Man? MJ runs 50 miles in the other direction. Why are you running? I've already seen how this war ends. No, thank you, sir. It's like, I ain't doing that. On to the next question, and this is on to the next topic, and this is going to please a lot of 80s childs.
Ooh, you have my attention.
I'll make my way out.
Hasbro's Mask movie moves forward with a new writer.
Oh?
Paramount has tapped Bad Boys for Life co-writer Chris Bremner to write their upcoming Mask movie. The Fate of the Furious and Straight Outta Compton director F. Gary Gray has been attached to helm the project for nearly 2 years now. It is believed Gray will still direct the long-awaited movie, though no production has been revealed. Gray is also on board as producer of the movie, which is based on the iconic 1980s cartoon and toy line. MASK stands for Mobile Armored Strike Command and was launched as a cartoon series and toy line in 1985. A live-action movie has been in development for years now, and for a while it looked like it had been placed on the back burner. However, now that Chris Bremner has been brought on it appears that Hasbro and Paramount are ready to finally move forward with the project. It's unclear what direction Bremner will take the story, but he and F. Gary Gray on board is pretty much guaranteed to be action-packed. The heroes of Mask fought against Venom, vicious evil network of mayhem. I love campy 80s shows. In the cartoon series, the human characters drove vehicles which were like Transformers. They would put on their respective masks and the vehicles would change into something else. For instance, a motorcycle easily turned into a helicopter, while the Thunderhawk car turned into a jet. The show was quite popular for a few years until it went from fighting terrorism in a race car driving. From there, the show and the toys began to fade from popularity. It has been reported that F. Gary Gray was attracted to Mask because it is a vintage property which can easily be brought into a contemporary world. It's the goal of Hasbro and Paramount to hatch a contemporary subculture movie with a youth empowerment angle, which sounds like a great idea for the movie. With that being said, it sounds like the characters may take on a younger identity, which will differ a bit from the source material. Hopefully Scott, Tracker, and T-Bob will be involved in some capacity. T-Bob is a robot who turned into a scooter in the cartoon. If the character is brought on, hopefully they won't make him look like a toilet like he does in the original cartoon series. Chris Bremner is coming off the fresh success of Bad Boys for Life, which has earned nearly $400 million globally. The movie is still in the top 10 after hitting theaters in the middle of January. Bremner has also been tapped to write the long-awaited National Treasure 3. So he is pretty busy at the moment. Now that there is a writer and director in place, MASH should head into the next phase of development. A cast announcement and production start should be announced any time now. The Hollywood Reporter was first to announce the Mask news. Well, now, as somebody that grew up with that series back in the day, along with Defenders of the Earth, I'd love to see that happen. It's been a while since I've watched the series, but every now and again I'll go to watch that intro, and it's just a nice nostalgic blast, especially where the lead vehicle is a Trans Am but can actually fly because the doors open up like gull-wing doors and actually allows the car to fly. It was over the top, campy 80s, in your face, does not make any sense, and it was unashamedly proud of it. So, I'm all for that, and F. Gary Gray at the helm as director. We know the guy can direct, especially with, character movies like Straight Outta Compton. I'm going to be queuing up for tickets for that one, because to see another 80s classic come to live action it'll be something special. Lid, as a fellow 80s child yourself, what do you make of that?
That sounds interesting. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I never watched this cartoon as a kid. There's certain cartoons that I didn't get a chance to watch, and this is one of them. But if they want to do it, hey, more power to them. I look forward to whatever comes out of the pipeline. If it looks good, great. If it looks crappy, I'm gonna give it a pass because I don't have no attachment to this franchise. So,
Fair enough. Raiden.
I'm slightly interested. I mean, I never checked out Mask back then. I saw the toys back then. And recently, a couple years back, I read the IDW version of Mask, and I'm like, okay, this looks cool. And like you said with F. Gary Gray, I definitely trust after Straight Outta Compton and Bad Boys for Life, so I want to see this come to fruition. I want to see a lot of tender love and care with this franchise, and I'm just hoping for the best because this sounds great.
What does Kaiju have to say?
Like Lydia, I don't have any sort of personal attachment, zero nostalgia for the Mask franchise. I have heard about it as a popular thing from the 80s, and it sounds like a cool enough premise to be made into a movie. You got people in armored costumes and giant, machines that transform into other cooler machines. Um, I think it's a concept that can easily appeal to a new generation of kids these days, and even perhaps for fans of the original series. Um, in other words, it kind of sounds like it sounds very much like a even more vehicle based version of GI Joe, and but then I'm not sure, is Mask another Hasbro property?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm wondering.
And in the comics, they have like collaborated with Transformers and GI Joe. So there you go.
Okay, so I understand that Hasbro has had a difficult time trying to get people interested in GI Joe these days. I mean, there's no new series. I don't see any toys talking, no movie, no third GI Joe movie. So I'm wondering, because like for me, from an outsider's perspective, Mask and GI Joe look and feel very similar to each other. So I'm wondering, if Hasbro isn't able to make GI Joe a thing in the modern age, what are the chances that they can make Mask popular? So that's my only what's the word? That's my main concern when it comes to this project. It sounds like it can be a fun movie, but will it be successful? I can't say for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Let's see. Cross that one out. Oh dear. I'm not sure if this one's going to be considered parody, although your mileage may vary. Ben Stiller rumored to be part of Fast and Furious 9.
That's certainly not a name I'd expect to hear.
Also known as Tropic Thunder 2.
Fast and Furious 9 is hitting theaters this summer, and we will see the return of some fan favorite characters, including Sun Kang's Han, which has fans especially excited. With such a huge cast, you'd think the franchise would be done adding exciting names to the lineup, but it sounds like they might have another interesting pick for the upcoming movie. While there's been no confirmation, there are rumors currently circulating that Ben Stiller could be showing up in the movie. According to Page 6, it seems like there'll be a small part. The movie wrapped up production back in November, so if Stiller is in the movie, we're guessing it's not a huge role if they manage to keep it a secret for this long. In what would be a fascinating casting decision, Page 6 is told that Ben Stiller will have a role in the latest installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, even though the Zoolander star isn't exactly known for his high-octane petrol-head performances. We're told that Stiller is due to begin shooting scenes for F9 soon. Page 6 writes, while Stiller is mostly known for comedies, the actor did play an action star in the Academy Award-nominated movie Tropic Thunder. His filmography has a lot of range, but this would be the actor's first foray into a huge action franchise. If Stiller is really joining the crew, he wouldn't be the only newcomer. Fast and Furious 9 will also see the franchise debut of John Cena, who will be playing the antagonist of the film and the brother of Vin Diesel's Dominic Toretto. However, in a recent interview, Cena denied that his character was actually a villain. We'll leave it for the audience to decide. We'll leave it for the Fast family around the world to decide who's bad and who's good. Keep in mind the trailer just shows enough for you to have a ton of questions, and me not being able to answer any one of them. Diesel said Cena's take is fair, adding audiences are going to have to decide if Jacob is as bad as he appears to be. Like all the characters in the saga, they are multi-dimensional, and there are no cookie-cutter characters. They all have layers, as we've seen, but we're so excited about this. Would you like to see Ben Stiller in Fast and Furious 9? Tell us in the comments. Not really. I mean, he's a good enough comedic actor, but I don't know if this is a movie he could transition into. I mean, that'd be like, let's think of it something really obscure, not like a big Hollywood name would come into. That'd be like, Ice Cube doing Shakespeare. You'd look and go, Q, you okay? I mean, I don't know. But the sounds of things, that the way that they're looking to do, if they're only just talking about it now, it's more than likely it'll be like a quick cameo. Not that Stiller would cameo for something in like Fast and Furious, because since cameos are just done as a means of like an actor of the previous continuity of something major would just to like have a quick walk-on role and what have you. So I don't know. And also Ben Stiller, with the exception of Tropic Thunder, he doesn't scream action star. Mostly things I knew him for was The Heartbreak Kid, which the movie's okay, but it's Ben Stiller acting like Ben Stiller. And the one that everyone remembers him for, There's Something About Mary. We don't even need to talk about the trouser incident.
No.
Or do we?
No.
But could we?
We could, but it wouldn't be advised.
But should we?
You're really trying to push this, aren't you?
Maybe.
Stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kaiju Noir is enjoying being Kaiju Noir.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Bam. Raiden, buy or sell this rumor?
Selling. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like Ben Stiller, but I don't know. Fast and Furious, Ben Stiller, that made no sense. I'm just. That's all I gotta say, because this is very confusing.
Lids.
It sounds incredibly stupid. I'm sorry. I don't have a problem with Ben Stiller as an actor, but just stick to comedy, man. I'm sorry. I know that sounds like you're being typecast, but don't put yourself in an action movie. I mean, I could say the same thing about Paul Rudd, and he's awesome in Ant-Man.
Come on. Don't you all remember Ben Stiller from the hit action movie Mystery Men?
Oh, God.
I do remember that movie, but no.
The only thing I remember of that movie is Smash Mouth All-Star.
Only thing I
Right,
remember
that was the everyone associates All Star with Shrek, but no, Mystery Men was the true film to inherit that title. It was stolen. Its reputation was stolen.
And apparently there was also Paul Rubens as a farting superhero. I am not joking.
Goody.
Also, Kel from Kenan and Kel was in there as the Invisible Boy.
But yeah, the point is, I have no problems with Ben Stiller as an actor. Just the fun action franchise is the Fast and the Furious. Really, Ben? Come on. If anything, you should try a Marvel movie first. See if that works out for you before you jump into the freaking waters of fast cars that defy the laws of physics.
Especially what
Seriously,
we saw
what the hell?
Especially what we saw with John Cena's Mustang, dude. This is like, what the hell, dude?
That's not how science works. Again, I always say, I wait and see, but I don't buy it for a nanosecond that this will work.
Fair enough. Kaiju?
Yeah, it seems like a very strange casting decision, given how this movie pretty much predicates on hypermasculinity at its utmost finest. So with people uh like uh Dwayne Johnson and other sort of macho action hero characters, and Jason Statham, what was it? I can't believe my mind is blanking on the main star himself.
Cena?
No, not Cena.
Vin
I
Diesel?
didn't know Cena was in Vin Diesel. Thank you. My mind often goes through brain farts when it comes to actors and actresses' names. But yeah, with so many of these characters, Ben Stiller, the announcement of someone like Ben Stiller kind of feels like it comes out of left field, honestly. But hey, who knows? Maybe it could work. Maybe not. Don't really know. Don't really care.
Fair enough. Okay, we've crossed through that. Mind you, sticking with at least with the studio of Universal, and this will concern a few people of fans of this franchise. Jurassic World 3 set photo confirms we'll see dinosaurs in the snow.
Ooh, okay. I'm mildly interested.
A new image from Jurassic World 3 teases a new and chilly location. Colin Trevorrow is hard at work on the final installment of the latest trilogy, and he's giving fans a tease of what to expect. The director just recently revealed that the title of the third movie is called Jurassic World Dominion. If I see one dragon in that movie...
Oh, God, now I want to see it.
While we have an official title and a new set image, there really isn't a whole lot of confirmation about the movie that the director has revealed other than the returning cast members. Hawaii is usually utilized for the fictional island of Isla Nublar, but thanks to the last movie, we know that Jurassic World 3 will not take place there. Instead, Colin Trevorrow is teasing a colder location where snow can easily be seen. No cast members are present at large, but members of the crew are, and they're all in heavy jackets. It looks like we're going to see some dinosaurs in the snow this time around, which is quite different from the locations we previously seen. It's believed that Jurassic World 3 will take place in a variety of different locations, however we're not sure just exactly where yet. As for where this specific snowy locale is, we're not sure of that either. It's all a mystery at this point. Colin Trevorrow has been keeping all of the details under wraps. Well, that makes a change from a lot of movies. With that being said, the director did tease a little of what's to come with the short movie Big Battle at Little Rock. Fans of the franchise were able to see what a world would look like with dinosaurs among us. Avengers Endgame Chris Pratt has compared Jurassic Park 3 to the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. The comparison makes sense since many familiar faces from the history of the franchise are returning. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum are all returning as Alan Grant, Ellie Settler, and Ian Malcolm, respectively, for the first time since Steven Spielberg's original 1993 installment. Bryce Dallas Howard returns with Jake Johnson, Omar Sy, Justice Smith, and Daniela Pineda. Awesome. Dichin Lachman, Dewanda Wise, Scott Hayes, and Mamadou Athie, hope I pronounced that correctly, are new to the franchise. Jurassic World 3 opens in theaters on June 11, 2021. We've got a pretty decent way ahead of us, but fans already knew that was going to be the case. Colin Trevorrow wrote the screenplay for the sequel with Emily Carmichael, and many fans are hoping that it turns out better than the second installment. Don't get too many people started, we'll be here all night. Which was divisive to say the least, not repeating what I just said. Hopefully Trevorrow can turn things around and end everything on a strong note with the help of the present and past cast members who are all jumping on board. As for where the sequel will take place, we'll just have to continue guessing for a bit longer. You can check out Colin Trevorrow's Instagram set image direct from the set. There is a lot to unpack from that. I mean, the idea of Rexy in the snow, maybe with blue. And plus, it's probably going to feature dinosaurs that are being produced by, rival business people and possibly rival corporations, because there is the possibility that Biocen will finally show up, because they were mentioned back in the original novel, and they were also the unnamed corporation that Dotson represented in the first movie, so it'll be interesting. I will say, though, the story has still got to be solid, though. That's the thing. Because, as people have said, the second movie left a lot to be desired. And that's being nice about it. The things I will say positively about the second movie, I thought J.A. Bayona was a damn good director. Even though the script was probably bonkers off the wall crazy. I mean, you give a blood transfusion to a velociraptor from a T-Rex. I'm not a hematologist, and even I can tell you that's going to cause more harm than it should. So, I don't know. What we do know is, from what I remember reading from articles beforehand, is Trevorrow says this is going to be more like the original Jurassic Park.
Huh?
Now, I'll give the man the benefit of the doubt, because we haven't got the movie to work with yet. All we know is dinosaurs and snow. So whether this is going to play out like the original novel, and with probably elements of the original movie, I wouldn't like to say. But
Navi, do not chew on my earbuds.
Oh,
I win.
Hello.
greetings, Navi. Mao.
As he nonchalantly starts cleaning his paws.
What? What did I do?
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be more than likely, we'll probably see like more feathered dinosaurs in snowy locales, because I don't see the likes of the Brachiosaur, Triceratops, maybe Blue, but even then it'll be touch and go, because she wasn't feathered like the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park 3. And interesting thing, Chris Pratt apparently compares Jurassic World 3 with the MCU.
No.
Differences between Jurassic Park and the MCU. Jurassic Park actually, has movies that leaves it a few years in allowing, fans to actually miss it. With the MCU movies, there's one out every 8 months. And as Kaiju pointed out with the first Avengers movie when we were covering our end of year, with the first movie, it's a simple storyline. You didn't need to know anything before going in, but yeah, if you went into Infinity War not knowing the backstory, you'd be like, sorry, what's going on? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's that? It's like, you don't know where you are.
What's this? What's this? There's something very wrong. What's this?
Ooh, what's this?
So, to steal a page from our own Lena Inverse. The proof in the pudding will be in the eating. I'll give my thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World 3, or as I'm going to go with, Jurassic Park 6, because let's just call it for what it is. I'll make my mind up when I see it. But it's got a
Jurassic Park lay me to rest.
No, people were thinking that after the third movie. Come on now.
Also, we don't talk about 3. Fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Alan.
Raiden, go to the corner.
Okay.
And it's not just the regular corner, it's the corner with L-Man smiling.
No! Nobody deserves that.
Well,
Yippee.
maybe the writers of AEW. And current writers that McMahon keeps hold of. Actually, yeah, feed those two L-Men first. You'll find that delightful.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, you could lock him in a room with Weavile.
Oh, God.
Now,
Oh no!
now for context,
You know how savage that SOB can be.
Yes.
Lids, what do you make of that prospect that we're gonna see snowy locales with dinosaurs in?
I don't know if they're going by the whole genetically engineered route. That might be a possibility, but I'm not a biologist or a paleontologist. But yeah, cold-blooded animals don't exactly do well in cold weather. That's kind of an issue. It's just I don't know. Again, we shall see what they do with that. But yeah, if you're gonna film in a snowy locale. That might be a bit of an issue, unless you're bringing back freaking mammoths or saber-toothed tigers along with that. Which again, that'd be a pretty sick movie, but
It would please the Overlord seeing saber-toothed kitties.
Meow.
Just don't ask them to start forming together.
No,
Oh God, no!
Navi, you do not put your teeth anywhere near that cord. Nope.
No, bad kitty. Yeah, again, for me, it's wait and see, but I kind of have my doubts considering the fact that biology kind of dictates it can't do this, but it's a movie. Who knows? This shit.
Raiden?
I mean, sand sitting is great, but like Liz said, I don't know with that weather. It's a two-way street. So I'm hoping they have something to explain about that, especially like DNA, blah, blah, blah. And I know they might do it, but I hope they don't leave that Clone Saga thing out the door, because that shit was very confusing to get through in Fallen Kingdom. Let me tell you that right now.
Although, has to be said, it did make me wonder, they were going to do something with human cloning eventually, so I just figured, well, you had to do it sometime.
I guess. I mean, they replicated dinosaurs, so there's the other element of that. So, I guess. But like I said, all things come to fruition. I hope things get explained. I hope this franchise gets a proper ending.
Yeah, about that.
Uh-oh.
Word on the wire is they're greenlighting 3 more sequels.
Of course. Hollywood.
Well,
Shouldn't be surprised.
Here's the thing, though. We may groan, but a smart financial business standpoint would be, this is making money, so therefore we should make more of it. It'd be like, let's say for the sake of discussion, Wynn owns a bakery corporation, like Wynn's Surprise, something to that effect, where she's got cupcakes that are cat themed and rogue themed cupcakes.
Little fondant daggers.
She brings out the cup fondant cake, and that sells well through. they ask her, can you make more of these? We'd like to expand this internationally. People, if you, produce in mass and people buy more of it, then they'll just make more of it. I'm not saying that we'll see, let's say, for the sake of discussion, 15 more Jurassic Park movies, because I think by that point it's like, okay, like 8 or 9's enough. Although for some people they still think there's not been a decent one since the first movie, but to each their own. It's just sensible business. If something makes money, you keep making it. It'd be like, let's say Kaiju comes in as the creative consultant and director for the next Godzilla movie, and he literally blows it out of the water. It makes $2 billion around the world. For the sake of discussion, they'll say, Mr. Noir, how would you like to be signed up for the next 3 movies, and we'll give you 50% gross of the box office cuts? He just goes, let me just sign my name on this dotted line here, yes.
Anything with that sweet paycheck.
Exactly, so... Noir's millions. Ooh, yes. Or $1 million Noir.
I'd rather have $1 million than $1 million me, to be honest.
Well, you are unique.
Exactly.
There can be only one!
Damn it, you stole my joke.
Can't help it, I've seen enough Highlander movies to know where that was going.
Touche,
One of the few movie franchises that hasn't been tainted so far. Knocking on my desk.
Well, unless you count Highlander the Source.
We don't count. We don't talk about the Source, but regardless, I mean, like, no weird shoving of agendas. That was just plain bad. Just bad. Not cringy. Not cringy, preachy bread. It was just bad.
Lids, what are your thoughts?
What are we commenting on again?
The fact that
Is it about the dinosaur?
Yes.
Because I would
The Noir's millions.
I'd buy that for $1.
Good. End of discussion.
Okay then. What are your thoughts on the fact that Jurassic World 3 is going to see some snowy locales?
Oh, that'll be an interesting take, especially given that the Ice Age was not the best era for dinosaurs. If there's, as Lid said, if there's mammals involved, such as saber-toothed tigers, mammoths, other various sorts of prehistoric fauna, then yeah, I could kind of see it. But with dinosaurs, I don't know. That remains to be seen. And I'm having to do everything in my power to not reference Mr. I'm being good. But yeah.
Mr. What? Sorry, you were cut off
I
there.
said Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
What killed the dinosaurs? The
God damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kaiju Noir is having fun. Please lock up your doors.
To be or not to be? Not to be.
Sean Retro goes Jurassic World 5, the cruise ship. Probably not.
No.
Kaiju, I know what your thoughts are currently with regards to the Jurassic World franchise, but as ever, I do like your input on this.
I mean, it's a really neat and interesting locale that we haven't gotten in any Jurassic Park movie yet so far. And the fact that the dinosaurs are kind of moving around worldwide, kind of, sort of, maybe, would bring some interesting locations and visuals to the series. That being said, I'll just reiterate: I have no faith in Jurassic World 3 or Jurassic World Dominion, simply due to the lackluster state of the Jurassic World franchise so far. The only thing really to have come out of Jurassic World has been the battle at Little Rock
I did like
and
that.
the Jurassic World attraction in Universal Studios Hollywood. It's essentially the same ride as Jurassic Park the ride, just it's been given a much needed update. Because those animatronics, man, they started to show their age.
Yeah. Alright, just read a few more comments a second. Sean Retro says Jurassic World 6, Dinosaurs versus Mr. Freeze. Let's not and say we did.
Oh, don't give Hollywood ideas, for the love of God.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, is that any more ridiculous than the idea of dinosaurs being sent to fucking Afghanistan and taking out terrorists like the bad guys want them to?
Oh yeah.
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Having a bunch of dinosaurs join the circus. Oh wait, that was actually funny.
Oh yeah, we're back. I liked that movie.
Roll back the clock to the dawn of time and sing this song with me.
That was an underrated film.
Very
Yeah.
very underrated.
Yeah.
Well, winner's here. And it's time, once again, no, not to get aboard the Ho train, because that's not very appropriate in this day and age. Sorry, Godfather.
Come on, let's get on the Ho train.
That could be taken so many different ways, Lids. I don't think Oni would appreciate that.
I'm talking about the hose in the backseat of the car.
You're really not helping this cause.
Should have been more specific.
The ones you use for gardening, silly.
Okay.
Oh,
Or if you,
before
or you can hijack a septic, truck and reenact that mini game in Saints Row.
I think Kaiju's trying to say something.
yes, I did had one art before you shared that video. There was one more article that I wanted to share with you guys.
Sure.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
And it was a little something that I've mentioned previously in in MJ's Discord channel, but yeah, it seems pretty cool. Something to potentially bring up now.
Cool.
And I also got another article I wanted to share right after this one that's slightly related.
Okay.
So, you mentioned earlier about C2E2, and another announcement that really got my attention from the convention was the new Marvel Ultraman comic. And as we got our first good look at it, so for those who don't know, Ultraman is probably the biggest, most popular superhero in all of Japan. It's essentially Power Rangers, except it's just one Power Ranger, and he grows giant to fight monsters rather than using a giant robot. He's a big silver-red alien from another planet to come to Earth and protect the world from monsters and aliens by kicking its ass in with martial arts and wrestling and all sorts of laser beams. So yeah. Power Rangers. Let's see. But Ultraman did it first. Today, during the Marvel panel at C2E2, Editor-in-Chief C.B. Cebulski, well, it sounds like a Star Wars name, unveiled details regarding Marvel's Ultraman comics based on Tsuburaya Productions' iconic hero, titled The Rise of Ultraman. The series is scheduled to launch later in 2020, and it will revisit the original 1967. Aha! It's actually 1966 Tokusatsu series. The book will be co-helmed by writer Kyle Higgins and Matt Groom, with art by Francesco Mana. In addition, the promotional art for the series is illustrated by Ed McGuinness and Matthew Wilson. And one detail I would like to point out is that even in drawn form, they still proceed to draw the tiny little eye holes that was on the original costume for the Ultraman mask. It's something really weird that Tsuburaya always makes their costume designers do, where anytime they bring back any of the classic Ultramen, Because just like Power Rangers, there's like a shit ton of different Ultraman for almost every year. And every time they bring back a classic Ultraman, they continue to put in the little eye holes for the sake of tradition, I suppose. Even though none of the newer Ultraman costumes have eye holes, because obviously they've found a way to avoid that since then. But yeah, weird that they still make them draw them. Let's see. Fans of Power Rangers should recognize Kyle Higgins for his incredible run on Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics, as well as his work on Winter Soldier, whereas Matt Groom is known by Tokusatsu fans for his podcast Ranger Danger, or his run with Image Comics' Self/Made. Then, as for Francesco Mana, he recently worked on illustrating Dan Slott's Fantastic Four comics. We have quotes from the two writers regarding their love and knowledge of Ultraman and the tokusatsu genre. From Kyle Higgins, a few years ago, thanks to my time on Power Rangers, I was able to discover and learn more about tokusatsu, its wildly different conventions and inspirations. Tokusatsu, and Ultraman in particular, has been a huge source of joy for me. It's a genre so ripe with possibilities, even down to what we conceive of in the structure of superhero storytelling. It's both an honor and a privilege to bring Ultraman to Marvel. From Matt Groom, monsters and fictions have been embodying all that is dark and scary in our world for as long as we've been telling stories. But I don't think anybody understood the immense scale of our most pressing problems quite like Eiji Tsuburaya. He imagined the darkness looming overhead as tall as skyscrapers, aliens, and unknowable and angry. But he also imagined us being able to stand up to those monsters by rising above our worst impulses and embracing our nobler way of being. He imagined Ultraman. What does that mean in this complex, contradictory world of lies? We're going to find out. Now, this is an incredible follow-up to the initial announcement made in November 2019 that Marvel Comics and Tsuburaya Productions were collaborating together. However, knowing that our team is tokusatsu fans themselves just confirms that the rise of Ultraman is guaranteed to take off. We at Hero Club cannot wait to see new stories based on the iconic characters from the original Ultraman series, and we can only hope it expands to the other series. Nevertheless, please stay tuned for more details on this comic title in the coming months.
Awesome.
Artwork looks great.
Yeah. And I'm also very happy to see that they're going to be including... This seems to be a straight-up adaptation of the original 1966 Ultraman series, similar to how the Boom Power Rangers comics was an adaptation of the original Mighty Morphin series. And
yeah, I recognize the name. I recognize the name Kyle Higgins, and I'm like, hey, isn't that the same guy that's part of Boom Studios Power Rangers?
And I want to show off the two monsters shown on the promo image right there. One of them being the alien Bolton.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And the other being the ancient dinosaur monster Gomora.
Ooh, so I like the design.
I'm very happy to see that they're incorporating classic monsters into the comic itself.
Nice.
So kind of like how Mighty Morphin was incorporating people like Goldar and Rita Repulsa. This is sort of like Ultraman's gang of iconic foes. And I'm excited to see who else they're going to get involved into the series. I mean, apparently they're going to have the same protagonist, Shin Hayata, but they're also going to have new characters as well, classic elements, new elements. So I'm very interested to see this new American take on Ultraman, which I don't think we've had since the 90s Dark Horse Ultraman Tiga comic, if anyone ever saw that. I'm going to look for a quick image right now. Let's see. I'm going to see what year that was. Okay, so this was a 2003, 2004, so roughly around the same time that Ultraman Tiga was on the Fox box, if anyone remembers that.
I remember.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I actually like Tiga.
Oh yeah, Tiga's fantastic. And here's an image for Tiga right now, and the aliens in this cover are actually an homage to Bolton. As you can see, they got similar design heads and giant claws.
Yeah, I definitely see it.
That's cool.
I need to read this someday.
Oh yeah, I'd say Ultraman Tiga is definitely worth checking out. And let's see, as for the other one, the other article I wanted to bring up, just gonna post it here on Discord. Getting the link ready now. Ah. There we go. And so, since we're already on the subject of Ultraman, I wanted to talk about a project that was inspired by Ultraman. So, any of you guys familiar with Platinum Games?
Yes.
Familiar.
I
So,
play the ever-loving hell out of Bayonetta anytime I get a chance.
Right.
And I played the hell out of Vanquish.
And I play the hell out of Transformers Devastation. See, so... Uh-huh.
Oh, I was gonna say, and when I did borrow a friend's Wii U before, I played a bit of Wonderful 101, which is an amazing game and not problematic. Fuck you, certain pop culture critics.
Right,
But
same here.
So as not to derail, Mr. Noir, you have the floor again.
Alright, so Platinum Games announces giant superhero kaiju fighting game, Project GG. Platinum Games have announced Project GG, directed by Hideki Kamiya, as part of their ongoing reveals for 4 new games, including the Wonderful 101 Remastered coming to Kickstarter. Project GG is a brand new IP from Platinum Games themselves. The official website also contains a message from director Hideki Kamiya, explaining how previous titles have been purely developed by Platinum Games. Kamiya explained that they will now have more control over how the game is marketed and advertised. We've made a wide variety of games throughout our history, sometimes based on existing properties like Nier Automata, sometimes wholly original stories like Bayonetta and Astral Chain. Our work has found a core of passionate fans who trust us to deliver high-quality action games. But Platinum Games has thus far only been a developer. That means we make the games, and that's it. All of our titles up until now have been made under contracts, with cooperations and fundings from the publishers who distribute them. Of course, everyone at Platinum and I are extremely grateful for the relationship that we have made with all of you through the games we've made so far. But ultimately, all of those games belong to the publishers. Any and all decisions about how those games are promoted, how their content is used, and so on, are entirely up to the publisher. As a creator, it's not hard to think of my games as my children. After all, it takes a lot of hard work to raise them up, and a lot of love too. However, once they're done, any choices about them are entirely out of my hands. So, for example, no matter how many times people tell me, you should make a sequel to this game, or I'd love to see it on that console, there's nothing I can do about it. While details about the game itself are scant, on the website, the latest issue of Famitsu, via this individual right here, featured an interview with Kamiya and producer Atsushi Inaba. Inaba stated they wish to betray the user's expectations in a good way, translated by Google Translate. Kamiya also stated that while Beautiful Joe is a game about one hero akin to Kamen Rider, The Wonderful 101 is a team about heroes, Gigi is a huge hero. Inaba also stated that he wished for the game to be released on all existing platforms. The teaser trailer itself also states that the game is the climax to the Hideki Kamiya superhero trilogy. It seems the player will be able to control a hero able to grow to giant size and fight off kaiju. You can find the announcement teaser below. And if anyone wants to watch it, I have it saved at 00.
Ooh.
So yeah, while Beautiful Joe was sort of an homage to Kamen Rider, so Wonderful 101 is homage to Sentai. Project GG seems to be an homage to Ultraman. So we have Hideki Kamiya pretty much creating pretty much love letters to all 3 of the major, largest superhero franchises in Japan.
Oh, that's rad.
All right, so everybody ready?
Yep.
Yes,
Give me
sir.
1 second. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, I'm at 0.
Okay, so get ready to press play on the Project GG teaser trailer in 3, 2, 1, play.
Already I'm liking the graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, spooky.
Whoa.
Oh, snap. Look at that.
Everybody run!
It's Godzilla!
Oh, no, it's not Godzilla this time. What the fuck is that?
But due to international copyright laws, it isn't. But we'll pretend that it is Godzilla, which it clearly isn't.
Puppy! No, don't hurt the puppy! Don't hurt the puppy!
Aw, do not hurt the sheep.
Don't hurt the puppy! What? Oh!
I love the Beautiful Joe reference there.
That looks awesome.
That looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I
Oh,
want
mean,
that.
good.
I want that now.
Kind of fun.
I want all the things. Gimme.
Nice.
Plus, it's from Hideki Kamiya, so you know it's going to be good.
Sean Retro
Oh,
says,
yeah.
just shut up and take my money. That was awesome, man.
Glad you enjoyed it, and hopefully this will make people even more interested in Ultraman as the comic comes out, as the new DVDs and Blu-rays come out to America finally, and with this project here. So I feel like, anyone who's a fan of Power Rangers, I feel like Ultraman would certainly be up their alley. And yeah, hopefully this is something that will get people interested.
Anybody?
And yeah, what Steven said, it's Power Rangers meets Godzilla. That's the perfect way to pitch Ultraman.
Anybody got anything to say? Anything? Try and say that again. Probably. Anybody got anything else to say about it?
Oh no,
Cool.
it looks cool. I'm
All right.
Looks great. I want it. I want it now. Gimme.
gimme.
Alrighty. Is everybody set to 0-0 at my?
I'm at 0.
Yes.
Hold on. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
In 3, 2, 1, it's premiere time. Play.
Ooh. Oh, I know what's going on here. Oh, yes!
No. Oh my god!
Nice.
Okay. Oh my god.
soon as I saw the purple, I'm like,
Mighty
yes.
Morphin Power Rangers. Quite possibly one of the most dominant brands of the 1990s. It took the world by storm from the day of the dumpster in 1993 that introduced the world to the first incarnation of Power Rangers of the Mighty Morphin era that was adapted from the Toei Super Sentai series Zyuranger that featured 6 extraordinary individuals that would transform into a defense team of multicolored spandex and helmet apparel, drawing power from dinosaurs. Although, it should be noted that the only 2 dinosaurs in either Zyuranger or Power Rangers were the Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus. Pterodactyl did exist during the Mesozoic era, but they were flying reptiles, not dinosaurs. And the saber-toothed tiger and the mastodon didn't exist until millions of years later in the Ice Age, long after the dinosaurs became extinct. The original team comprised of Jason, Zach, Trini, Kimberly and Billy, and later Tommy joining as the legendary Green Ranger. During Season 2, Austin St. John, Walter Jones, and the late Tweed Trang walked off the set as their characters, Jason, Zach, and Trini. This was due to a pay dispute as they were only getting paid $500 an episode. Now, while I don't condone the unprofessional conduct of walking off the set like that without giving notice, I do appreciate their reasons for doing so.
Is this $500 an hour?
Consider
Or
that
an
it was
episode?
the number one show for kids and young families that was pulling in ratings and revenue through merchandise, you would think that Saban would be able to pay them a decent wage. But to my understanding, when Jason David Frank was asked to return to the franchise in 2004 for Dino Thunder as a favor to his friend Douglas Sloan, he said, and I quote, "Disney are like Saban. They're cheap." Well, that's awkward.
Oh!
So, with 3 of the original principal actors walking off the set, they were replaced by Rocky, Adam, and Aisha as the Red,
And Johnny
Black,
Anime.
and Yellow Rangers, respectively, played by Stephen Cardenet, the Bosch, Johnny Young Bosch, and Karen Ashley, respectively. It was during the filming of the 3rd quarter of Season 2 that the cast would travel to Australia to film the movie whilst the series was still filming, of which the wedding and the return of the Green Ranger was filmed whilst they were on location as the movie was going over time. So it's fair to presume that the movie would have featured the original Red, Black, and Yellow Rangers had they not walked off the set. But it is what it is. Steve, Johnny, and Karen would join David Yost, Jason David Frank, and the irreplaceable Amy Jo Johnson as Power Rangers would get their first movie after only 2 years as a series. And so, for the silver anniversary, and I've always wanted to say this, it's morphin' time. If you're expecting groundbreaking and thespian-styled Oscar-worthy scripting from a Power Rangers story, then this ain't your movie. Power Rangers at its core is a good, goofy comedy action romp that is in on the joke. It knows it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's having fun with it, and it just wants the viewer to enjoy it. What the movie does well is
Nephew,
taking the
what are you
formula from
doing?
the series and allow it to feel like an expanded episode of the show, but much larger in scope with regards to pacing, plot development, production value, and allowing time for the audience to breathe so that they can absorb the story. The movie starts with a charity sky
Oh, that's my
help
favorite
fund the
opening
Angel
sequence
Grove
to a movie.
Observatory with an approaching comet. A new evil is unearthed that represents
Red Hot Chili
the threat to
Peppers,
life on
right?
Earth. The Rangers try to
Yeah,
tackle it
well-
and have to acquire a new approach. Return to Earth, bring out the Zords, and destroy the monster
Dead
with the status
midriff.
quo resumed.
Oh, good
That's the
lord,
episode
that
format, with 3
CGI.
times the runtime. I
That's
do like the
it.
message
Still
of
ugly.
what you're able to achieve when you only
It was
have your wits
1996.
about you, and
No,
why
yeah.
you shouldn't take what you have
95
for granted,
actually.
which Billy highlights about Morphin.
You know the funny thing about morphin? What's that? You don't appreciate it because you can't do it anymore.
Ah, no,
It's a
Billy!
philosophical lesson that has been seen throughout life and fiction, of which was also seen in the Sonic Underground episode, When in Rome, where the Oracle states, "You did this without your powers. Think what you can accomplish with them." As much as I enjoyed the series back in the day, my biggest chief complaint was that they came across as too wholesome. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second that I'm advocating for them to be the complete polar opposite. That's not what I'm getting at. I
we
would
have the
preferred
reboot
to have
movie to do
seen
that.
a balance whereby they're still decent at their core, but they're just a little more easygoing. I think this is what the 2017 iteration had a better grasp on, But I feel like those incarnations of the characters would have benefited by having less attitude. Crying out loud, they made Sonic the Hedgehog look modest by comparison, and he's supposed to be the hedgehog with attitude. In spite of that, it allows for a much larger scale version of the series with a lot more at scope and a much darker tone than that of the show, which I think this movie actually benefits from that. The principal cast from the series reprise their roles and they're on form. Karen Ashley is as pleasant as ever as Aisha, and David Yost is as competent and astute as Billy. I felt Johnny Young Bosch was underplayed as Adam, but then again, you have to remember that he wasn't exactly known for being too vocal in the series, and the same can be said for Stephen Cardenet as Rocky. Although Adam does get in 2 decent gems in the movie, such as
I'm a frog.
when he learns that he's a frog, and
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
when the group are walking through a forest, going past what can only be the planet's equivalent of dinosaur fossils. The ones who got the most dialogue were Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, and Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly Hart. English actor Paul Freeman
that's
served
right.
as the movie's main antagonist, Ivan Ooze.
Really,
a
the movie
morphological
really
being
gave
that
most
had
of the
been sealed
attention
away for 6,000 years by a group
Rangers.
of warriors similar to the Power Rangers.
Even then, that's
stopping
not really
Ooze
saying
from ruling
much.
the world with an unparalleled terror.
You were gonna go
Freeman
back to
brings to the
watching
role as
it.
Ivan
They
is
still
a
had a
lot
little
of
bit of
wit,
dialogue. I
ham,
mean, half of it
and
was like
surprisingly
walking,
a likable villain that just
and the rest was
oozed
just reflecting what
charisma.
happened
Fighting,
previously.
walking, fighting,
Yes.
walking, some more fighting.
Sounds like Lord of the Rings.
Well, I think
My
anybody
favorite
was
line.
expecting that.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
You're right. The late Robert Axelrod reprises his vocal role as Lord Zed, and he sounds more intimidating than what he usually did for the
I like what you
show.
did there.
Brilliant.
I put that down to the sound editing, that the movie had more of a budget to play with when compared to the series. He gives a good performance despite the limited screen time the character has. Barbara Goodson reprises her vocal role as Rita, and like Axelrod, she makes use of what screen time she has. Paul Schreier and Jason Narvey reprise their roles as comical school bullies in Bulk and Skull, and they add for the comedy relief when the Rangers are doing their charity contributions in the skydive, and they land in a construction site, in typical comedic fashion.
Where's the free food? You idiot! All your kicking and screaming threw off the Stealth Eagle's sense of direction.
Stealth Eagle, my foot.
More like it.
Jamie Croft as Fred Kelman was used as the child audience participation in the movie as a metaphor that even someone that young can have the intuition and self-motivation to help make a difference. But I'll be frank here. I thought his story slowed the pacing down and just served as padding when the story broke away from the Rangers' quest to obtain the great power
Yep.
on Thanos. Gabrielle Fitzpatrick as Dulcia I found to be very endearing and charming as this warrior that had stood watch over the great power. It's rumoured that Catherine Sutherland had auditioned for the role of Dulcia at the time, but was turned down by the producers for being too young.
Yeah, I also heard
If her
that
costume was being done today, it wouldn't be anywhere near
I
as
remember her name.
revealing
Mariska
in this
Hargitay
movie.
actually auditioned
But
for
I
that
go by
role.
the notion that
Oh,
this design was done
yeah, I heard
to show
about
her
that too.
power and athleticism.
we would have had Detective
And
Benson.
let's be fair, Gabrielle
Yeah.
must have trained vigorously to get into that amazing shape. Oh, good lord. I have mixed sentiments with regards to the effects of this movie. First off, I'll be fair. I thought the suits were a vast improvement over the spandex costumes on the series, where they actually looked like they could take a pounding. It probably wasn't that comfortable for the cast, and even less so for the stunt actors who had to bear the brunt of the stunts, considering the weight of the suits was said to weigh up to 90 pounds from what I remember reading around the time of release. Some of the editing is atrocious.
From the way they look, I can
One
tell.
example that comes to mind is Tommy summoning his sentient saber, Saba. Rather than have a post-production edit where they could paint his sword in, what transpires is probably the worst-looking jump cut since Bill Murray's tablecloth in 1984's Ghostbusters. Although that, by comparison, looks good compared to this. And let's talk about the CG Zords, shall we?
Oh, good lord.
They looked cheap.
Oh,
Since the budget was $15
Lord, this shit rough.
million, you're not going to get stellar visual effects at that
Oh
cost.
yeah, that is super
Now,
low.
I know some people will
Oh,
say
a
that
bear!
it's
You
product
made
of
a
its
bear!
time, which they're right in that regard. But then I point to 1993's Jurassic Park, where the CG dinosaurs still look visually convincing to this day. let me put it to you this way. The CG for the Zords would have been decent for a good budget PS2 game.
Also, that's a terrible
I guess it's
mech
true what they
design.
say. You only get what you pay for.
Every time I go back to the movie, I always cringe looking at that shit.
Now, I cannot fault the score for this picture, especially the majestic theme that is used when the Rangers receive their animal spirits of the Ninjetti, as this conveys the sense of magic and awe.
Like something out of DC.
Graham Revell composed the score for the motion picture, and I find his work here is on the level of Sir John Williams and Alan Silvestri, of which I consider the masters of the composing world. The moving and somber score does give a lot of emotional weight when the Rangers return to the command center and seeing Zordon lying lifeless, realizing that they got back too late. The Power Rangers theme is remixed for the movie, and it's a much more rock and roll vibe when compared to the TV series version that was composed and sung by Ron Wasserman. I may have
Well, yeah, it was done by Megadeth.
trick, but the movie does this theme justice.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, I hear it. Holy shit.
This movie theme would be reused in Power Rangers 2017 as the Rangers take their Dinozords to the battlefield. The use of Van Halen's Dreams was
All
a
too
major
great,
picture with everyone
I can't
singing
lie, I
sound and
squealed when I
intro
heard
thanking
that.
the Power Rangers made for a real feel-good moment. It's a guilty pleasure. Not perfect by any stretch, and I don't think it was ever meant to be. It's just a campy movie that kids and young families that were fans of the franchise could appreciate because it had a little something for everyone. It only took $66.4 million against a budget of $15 million. But considering that it was up against Batman Forever at that time, well, need I go on? Elements of the movie would be carried over into the Season 3 four-parter Ninja Quest, where the Rangers still lose their powers and have to travel to the Desert of Despair where they meet Ninjor.
I didn't mind
Ninjor,
Ninjor.
while harmless enough, was less credible than Dulcia, and goofy.
He was a
to
bit
boot.
more hot-headed in
But that's my take.
Kakuranger.
A second Power Rangers movie would follow.
Oh,
with the
Turbo!
theatrical
Oh,
release of
Lord.
Turbo, a Power Rangers movie in 1997 that tied directly
Only good
into the
thing about
TV
that
series
movie
that would
was
then
Awesome
continue
St.
with
John
the
and Amy
fifth
Jo
season
Johnson
of
in
the
that.
series,
That's it.
Power Rangers Turbo. There wouldn't be another
Yeah.
Power Rangers movie for 20 years until the movie franchise rebooted with Power Rangers 2017, with a much
speaking
more
of
grounded and
suits,
witty
ew.
version of the Rangers, headlined by Dacker Montgomery, R.J. Kyler, Naomi Scott, Ludi Lin, and Becky G. The movie's not perfect, but in some sense that gives it character and personality.
It's
and it
awful.
reminds you of a time when things were just a little bit more innocent. And I think there's something to be said for that. I'm MJ Knight, and we went back to action for Power Rangers.
To be honest, the new movie is not that bad. It's just lacking of any
at its
sort of
core
real
is a
identity.
good, goofy comedy
And it's
action
not worth
romp
going back to if
that's
you're not
in on the
Right.
joke.
you're not a Power Rangers
The
fan.
movie knows exactly what it is, and it wants to be. It's morphin. I've never heard of morphin. Maybe Kaiju could tell me that. Kaiju, is there a form of Super Sentai that goes, it's morphin? I don't
I can't say there isn't.
I seem to be channeling my inner Leonard Nimoy. MJ, is this even logical? he's looking at the guy going, okay, I sound nothing like that. The Raiden goes, yes, you do.
Yeah, it's why are you making me sound
Two
more like Sulu?
bloopers. So,
Oh my.
if Kaiju's Spock, presumably that would make Raiden Geordie LaForge. Lids would be Counselor Troy.
Good choice.
Okay.
Win would be Dr. Beverly Crusher. So what would that make Oni? If you say Picard, I'll kill you. Yeah, but you get to
Yes!
Picard, the best captain of them all. That is true.
Crusher is my
Counselor
favorite.
Troy. Man the warp drive. As much as I enjoyed the series
Oh
back in the day,
my god. Okay,
biggest
you'll
chief
appreciate that,
complaint was
Jeff.
that they came across as too wholesome. Now, I'm not for. Well, that was a morphin failure. Do I get the Megazord to help me out? No, you do not get the Megazord to help you out. You have to sort it out. Ah, damn it. Not even Dragonzord? No. Damn it. Her costume, if it was being done today, probably wouldn't have been as revealing. But I go by the notion that they designed her costume back then to show her power and athleticism. And Gabrielle must have chained? I've heard of weight training, but weight chaining? Is this gonna...
That's some intense shit right there.
Swimming chaining, football chaining, basketball chaining. Where am I gonna break the chain with this, guys? When I can hear you all groan, it's like, boo, you suck.
Shut up, MJ.
Wait for it.
Draco Ranger.
Oh, I get to be yellow. Nice.
Yay, I'm red!
Also natural. Well, you think with my robot being Draco Azul, I'd be the Blue Ranger.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, that would have worked easily, actually.
Yeah, great video, man.
Really, really, really good.
And you're like, I'm like,
Yeah, that had me like.
Damn, your editing skills are getting better each video.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a lot more tighter.
What I tend to do now is probably watch certain sequences about 3 to 4 times something's off, and then play around with it 2 or 3 times more. It's like, okay, I've got it the way I want it now. There's actually Kaiju suggestions go to the scrolling credits.
Yeah, just to keep the pace moving faster.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay, what are the comments section like?
Unless there's a different version of Draco Azul from another.
Aaron Izzard just said, "Oh wow, MJ, that's an insult to the PS2."
And Steven said, "I bet they kind of lost the budget after the location shooting."
Yeah, that and the skydive segment, because that probably took the budget down a peg or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they say judge a movie's quality based on the time of its release. The CG's
That's definitely not doing it any favor. That line is not doing favors given everything that came out that year or that decade.
I mean, it's like I said, the suit's huge improvement over the series, and particularly with regards to the helmets, I don't think they really improved on it too much. If anything, it probably just had like a more of a gloss or a shine, index on it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I just think that the Zords. Ugh.
That's what that's what the kids these days would call a big oof.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, I look at it for what it is. It's just a guilty pleasure. It's nothing monumental, and if you're expecting something monumental from Power Rangers, keep looking on, because you're not gonna find it.
I always felt like there was potential for something like that. But unfortunately, they never seem to know how to get there. At least in terms of making them. I mean, I always felt like it's possible to make a good Power Rangers movie, especially when you have something like the Avengers that's able to handle an ensemble of superheroic characters in large grand scale battles. And it's like, why can't you do that with Power Rangers? And for whatever reason, they just can't seem to ever get it right.
No.
I mean, it's like I like what you mentioned there in the review, where you mentioned the idea, being able to accomplish anything when you set your mind to it, and being able to, what was it, appreciating something after it's gone. It's like, these are things I never noticed in the Power Rangers movie before, and I feel like those are great themes to explore, and those are certainly some great ideas for a potential Power Ranger story, but I don't think they're ever really explored at all in the movie itself, outside of just some lip service, like, a single throwaway line here and there, like, with the great power we can do anything. And it's like, there's nothing really, they never really expound upon that, other than just it's a line to show that they kind of learned something, even though they didn't really.
Yeah. And
that's what's disappointing about, sorry to interrupt you, but I always felt like that was disappointing about the Power Rangers, the first Power Rangers movie, is that there is potential for a story there, as simplistic as it could be, but it just relies so much on just, hey, fighting and action and walking and exposition. It all had the right ingredients for a potential story, but it doesn't really do any of that, and just provides the barest of bare minimums in terms of the story, and pads out the rest of the movie with action, walking, exposition, kid stuff, and there you go. Paul Freeman.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be expected given the demographic they were aiming at. I was maybe barely 10 years old when this movie came out.
Right, and I was just a stupid toddler, so I ate that shit up either anyway.
Likewise, and I was like, I want to buy all the toys ever, which I think is what they were going for.
I want all the toys.
Because I was a freaking Power Ranger junkie in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm. Although the thing, me and a few guys at high school at the time noticed, and I'm going to have to type this out in Discord because I can't really say this aloud.
That's fair.
Or can you?
Kaiju, we're not going down this road again.
Or will we?
Stop it.
Maybe.
You made me choke on my drink.
One thing we kind of noticed in photos of the action figures, and when I saw a couple of action figures in person, I noticed a few details that didn't seem appropriate on some of the figures, and I will simply say this.
Okay.
Wait.
You're
this
not wrong.
This is based on the TV show figures, or the figures based on the movie?
Movie figures.
Oh.
Okay, you know what? I could have sworn I actually saw that in the movie costumes themselves.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I remember looking at it.
They just feel like they're really, really tight around that area.
I just remember seeing that at the time, and I thought, I don't think that's supposed to.
Oh, nope. Yep, that's exactly how they're designed. Oh god, whoever designed these. Looking at these, I can't unsee this now, but yeah, those designers did not do the women any justice. I mean, this is an earlier this is an earlier version without the without the visors.
Yeah, it looked weird without the visors.
It's a natural.
Yeah, the cut of those pants will cause that. But at least it isn't bad on Cammy from Street Fighter levels.
True.
I'm just saying to Steven discreetly. Alright, Steve, you should see it in I'm just gonna wait to see what his response is. And it's probably going to be this particular image of what he does as a meme. Hang on, let me find it a second, because this thing's too hilarious. Hang on. I will find this, because this is hilarious. Hang on. Wait. Ah, yes.
Oh shit, that's it. I love the fact that you found the image from Awkward Zombie Comics. That is a great webcomic.
It was just a meme picture that was flying around at the time, like, ooh, yeah, I'm going to procure this, yes.
Yeah. A lot of people like to make memes out of her webcomics.
Of course, one of my buddies at the time saying, "I wonder what the male action figures look like." It's like, considering how inappropriate the female ones turned out, let's not even walk down that avenue. It'll end up looking image like that one Sentai image that Kaiju showed about that gun that was attached to the Megazord's midsection. Is like.
That wasn't no gun, MJ.
Oh, goody. Mental images already in my head. Push them out, Raiden.
It was just happy to see you.
Push them out. Ooh, bad choice of words there, MJ.
Okay, fine. Teleport into Oni's head. It's on his images. What the hell? One of the outtakes that I didn't feature in because I knew, because there was actually 2 Oni jokes in there, and one of them would have been, continuing the chain joke, and I just said, maybe I can join John Cena's chain gang at long last, and I could imagine Oni throwing tomatoes at my screen going, I hate you, I disown you, I hate you, and I just go, Nikki Bella's in the Hall of Fame, I hate you!
Oh my god. Oh god.
That's why I asked Lids, like, I'll keep the Picard joke in there because, Picard is Picard. He is everything. But I said, because I know the Nikki Bella thing's a hot topic for him and not in a good context, I said, should I have this one left in? And you're like, I'll have a word. But, by the time you actually got back to me, the review had been uploaded for about a good half hour by that point, and it took 40 minutes to do the render on it, and it'd be like, by the time I would get it re-rendered, re-uploaded, we would have been probably 40 minutes into the podcast by that point. Oh no. Oh hell yeah. Oh, hang on, I gotta show this. This is Steven's response to it. Oh god. I was actually working on the intro and the Morphin Night segment about a good two to 3 weeks before actually getting to the review, and the only couple of reasons for that is, one, unfortunately my cold took effect of me at the time, so voiceovers were out because I couldn't control my my coughing periods for a time, so that would have ruled out, doing any chroma keying work. And also I was receiving, was also doing the review for Sonic the Hedgehog, which even then I was having to do my timing just right, just to be able to, just getting through the spoiler-free review felt like an achievement. And then I looked at the spoiler review and I thought, oh crap. So it was only until about midday Monday last week was when my coughs were under control enough to where I'm like, right, we now get on with the voiceovers, because I'm not delaying this one like I did with, well, to be fair with Sonic, he was only delayed by 5 days, and it's only because the third ticket would have been out that Monday, but I couldn't release something that I would be reviewing if I didn't see it until Wednesday. Unfortunately, I don't have the keys to the DeLorean at this point in time, in which case I would have been done sooner. But thankfully, the render took little to no time to do, and it's not like with Gone in 60 Seconds where I didn't really have, when I say didn't have too much to work with, I just kept it as simple as I possibly could. Whereas with this one, I thought Power Rangers is a little bit bigger than Gone in 60 Seconds, even though Gone in 60 is a classic. I felt like there was a little bit more I had to put in, and I don't think I really needed to write too many jokes for it. I felt like the jokes wrote themselves. And when Gabrielle's picture came up originally, I originally was going to have Lid's avatar going, "Oh, hi, Gabrielle." But I thought it worked better for her to just pop up with the Jurassic Park reference, just said "spared no expense." Because I figured that's easier to do, it's easier to work with. And with Ooze's line of the Spanish Inquisition, I thought, I need Win for this. And it was just perfect. I would have included the musical cue that they would have done on Monty Python, but they're a bit touchy about people using their audio cues and what have you. So it's just like, nah, just have her with her avatar and just her going full ham. I didn't even need her to do like a second take, because it's just like, heard the first one, I was like, nope, that's perfect. That's just fine. It's like I say, the movie's not perfect. It's just one of those things that you have on when there's nothing else on, or you see something pop up in the news where it reminds you of something from your childhood, and you think, you know what, it's been a while, I'll go put this on. And rather than try to take it too seriously, you just laugh with it, because you're just, it's a bit of harmless fun. And like you, Kaiju, I liked Amy Jo's midriff in that movie. See, I feel like this is what some trends don't, try to like overdo it with, like over sexualizing women. Whereas you look at how Amy Jo did it, it's got a sassy look, but at the same time you sort of think it's harmless. And plus, most guys and a certain Madame Awesome President can agree with, Kimberly was one of our first few crushes back in the day.
How you doing?
Funnily enough, I was gonna do a joke where I would have turned to a picture of her modern look and just go, "Hey, how you doing?" but then then thought of how the NPC mob would have gone. I'm just like, don't do it. Because, somebody would have tried to, send a complaint and say, he's over-sexualizing her. I was like, oh, I don't need this.
It's okay for guys to find girls pretty. Pull the stick out of your ass.
So that you can hear the NPC mug. Never!
Yeah, but Win. That's the only type of fun that they're ever likely to get with the way they're carrying on.
Oh!
Right?
Well, in my opinion, they should have a mandatory visit to a proctologist to get that fixed. Can I get an amen, Lids?
Amen.
And it has to be said, I don't know what Amy Jo is taking, but girl, pass it around. Sharing is caring.
And I saw a recent picture of Karen Ashley, and she's looking pretty damn good still, too.
I can imagine, if Raiden saw it go by, he'd be like, hey.
Cue Miles Morales scene out of Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey.
Mine is getting hands stuck in hair.
I think the one who probably did the best delivery of that line, the scene from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Mama no, and you just see Ashley and you just
Look at me down. I'm not ready to talk to you yet, young man.
and you just see and Ashley, God bless Tatiana Ali, she just comes in and just goes, hey.
I remember Carlton's line, what's this, a pajama party? Scoot over.
Oh, God. But no, Amy Jo's 2 or 3 years away from 50, and she looks like she's barely in her 40s. But then again, she did do gymnastics as a teenager, so stands to reason she's probably got, familiar discipline still with her. Apparently, even David Yost did gymnastics growing up as well, which it surprised me, but doesn't surprise me given the sort of stunt work that he did on the series. I still thought it was bullshit the way he was ousted. No.
That made me salty because Billy was my favorite Power Ranger.
I felt like by the time it got to the end of season 3 and the start of Zeo, I felt he was a well-rounded character. He was still their go-to for tech, but I felt like he wasn't so nerdy, and I mean that in a good way. He felt like he had grown by that point, but I didn't like Amy Jo leaving, but we got Catherine in. I felt like Catherine Sutherland was sorely underrated. She really didn't have enough time to be like the pink Mighty Morphin Ranger, because she was only ever predominantly known as through Zeo and I don't even think she made it through halfway through through Turbo, because they left about what I want to say 17 episodes in. That was when they did the huge changeover.
I think so. It was probably for the best, though. Let's be real. Who liked Car Ranger?
I don't think nobody did.
I hear it's on the level of Batman 66 in terms of just being a straight up comedy or parody.
Yes, but only difference is with 66 Batman, it's a guilty pleasure, and Adam West, it was a delight to see on screen.
True.
Where it's more kind of debatable with Turbo, though I did love the actress who played Diva Talks, because she really did ham it up, and I was all for it.
Did you notice?
You could tell she was having fun.
I think they actually had a stand-in for the actress, because I think she actually left the series for a while to actually become a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because she also played her twin sister as well.
Demetria.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I could never get behind that character. I always felt like her guidance and wisdom was a little bit ambiguous. Whereas with Zordon, you'd get a straight answer from him. With her, all she would do is just dish out questions, and I'm like, I remember like one time where the other 5 Turbo Rangers are frozen solid after morphing. Tommy comes in asking for help. She just goes spouting a lot of questions out, and even I'm sat there watching and going, I'm with Tommy, you're not helping.
Though to be fair, they did drop the speaking in questions act part way through.
I think the only thing I genuinely liked about Turbo was the theme song.
Yeah.
Megazords were cool too.
Megazords were cool and music, but that's kind of about it. Not even, and also, like I said, Divatox's just over the top acting. I loved it, but other than that, I just couldn't get past some of the fucking monsters of the day. Just no. Those are more D-list than the fucking ones in Zeo.
Ouch.
Yeah, this was the point where sort of the golden era of Sentai kind of ended with O-Ranger.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. Usually when you go from one incarnation, or if you particularly with the surviving cast of the Zordon era, they either go from one era to another because they lose their powers or they go to a new one, or they get upgraded. With Zeo, they never lost their Zeo powers. They just went over to Turbo without so much as an explanation, because the Zeo crystal is said to still be somewhere on Earth along with the Zeozords, because they never got destroyed. And also explains why Tommy's able to morph into Red Zeo 5 courtesy of his Master Morpher.
And Jason can still turn into the Gold Ranger.
That I did not know. Neat.
But then again, instead of the Zero Crystal, that was the Staff of Midas.
And also, I'm so glad that during a season 2 episode of Beast Morphers, Austin St. John makes his first appearance in the franchise since Forever Red. And they're doing that one team up that Super Sentai did years ago, but only just now they're catching up with it. Whether we're...
By the way, you want to know how ridiculous Car Ranger can be?
Oh no.
These are just a few screenshots I found online.
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Baseball is around the world. How dare you!
Pizza breaking traffic rules? I must arrest those pizzas at once!
Well, they were taking the cheese out of it.
Also, I had to do this.
Oh no.
What the hell?
You know it's better when the TV series version looks better.
Right.
Well, they did come straight from Kaku Ranger.
I mean, I appreciate, with the movie version you can give more of a polish, but did you have to make it look so shiny that it looked like cheap plastic?
This is a case where it's too much polish.
Yes, but it was
Blinding
90s.
me with its chrome.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was the 90s. Chrome was a big thing in the 90s.
Like that episode of SpongeBob. Everything is chrome in the future.
You beat me to it.
Take that, Win. You're stealing my joke from before.
Meh.
Hey, you!
Meh.
Meh!
Meh.
Meh!
Meh.
I
Guys, how
concede.
old are you?
Dan says for his return.
I'm still young at heart, damn it! Don't you judge me!
True.
Dan saying for his return, I want Jason to make a cheeky comment about the reason he's disappeared for so long was because of a peace summit.
He's like, this is the longest peace summit there was. Oh wait, you know what? He missed his chance to mention that with the 10th anniversary special.
Yeah.
Also, Steven, don't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad.
I don't know.
And I can't be mad anymore. Navi just jumped on my shoulder and now he's sitting on it.
I don't know if I'll ever get round to reviewing Turbo. Actually, what is on my list of movies to review for the rest of the season? I mean, I've got something in mind for the season finale, but that's a way off yet. Right, I can finally cross. Oh yeah, I can cross Sonic off because obviously I went to the movies to watch that. I got Jurassic World. I got Iron Man 2 down again, but I think I'm doing that purely from the perspective of to actually go back and properly critique it, because I don't feel like I did a decent enough job with Iron March a few years ago. So one that's got a question mark is the 13th anniversary review for Transformers, which I still need to refine the script for that a little bit, because I still need to put some of your key pointers in there, Kaiju. Because if I recall, you mentioned something like you'd give examples with regards to things in the movie that didn't make sense, but you didn't really expand upon it, so I've got to put a little bit more emphasis on that. And because Transformers is such a beloved franchise, probably not so much for the movies, but as a story unto itself, it's something you have to approach it carefully. And I will be reviewing Batman and Robin. And my brother has said, you better not, shit all over it. I said, look, if I think something's bad in this, I'm going to say it's bad. But the difference is I'm not going to go ridiculous mode over it. It's like, if I think this acting was good here, but not so great there, that's just being fair. I have a question, Dan says, I have a question about the 100th episode of SKL. Will there be any special guest stars or cameos, or will it just be a clip show of the best of SKL? That would take so many weeks and so many hours just to go through all those episodes, Dan, just to pick out the best bits and what have you. I think probably what we'll do more than likely next week is, aside from going through topics like we do each week, we'll talk about what were the best laugh out loud moments, talk about some guest appearances on there, and yes, in Shoma we will probably even talk about you as well.
We'll have to schedule some guest stars.
Of course, there are certain ones we won't invite.
And
I was gonna
Yeah.
joke about that.
Yeah. We'll just simply see how it goes for next week. I'm hoping by that point my throat will have cleared up, because I've been trying to keep it subdued all evening, which is probably why a couple of times there were a couple of awkward pauses, because, well, just when I thought I've gotten rid of this thing, it just will not take the hint. But then again, it's March, so ailments don't leave that quickly. I think Inshoma's hinting for him to be a guest on next week.
That would be awesome. And we could probably have Steve on for a few minutes.
if at all possible, I can probably get Oni to pop in at least for a bit, because he does have to do his Elimination Chamber pay-per-view thing, but he can pop in later if he wants to.
Let's put it this way. Raph. I don't see it being a problem. The only thing that could be a problem, like I say, just with regards to my health, because I'm just feeling lightheaded, but not lightheaded. Throat's just acting up and just a little bit warm all over a sudden, which I hope I'm not coming down with something too annoying, but we'll see how it goes. I think next week's just a case of just reminisce on what we've done so far and where we go, with the next 100 after that. Yeah, that'd be pretty much it. Haven't been able. I apologize. I haven't really gotten around the table. Raiden, you were probably the most surprised as anyone when, because I think you got the hook when it said, "May the power protect you." You're like, no, 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 don't tease me, don't tease me, don't tease me. And then you saw the reveal of the helmets, and it's just like, for those just tuning in listening, Raiden was like a kid in a candy store. It's just like, so much sugar, so much sugar. Okay, I'm not leaving for a week. I'm good. Okay, man. Let's air it.
I loved every bit of it. I mean, he definitely told the truth on a lot of parts. Like, it's definitely guilty pleasure, but all in all, it's a fun ride. And I gotta say, like Win said, you did really good on your editing, and it was. All I gotta say, it was great. That's all there is to it. Everything was pretty solid. So great stuff.
Lids.
I loved it. The second I saw the green graphics, I'm like, oh, I see what's happening here. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did like it, and again, you keep getting better and better each video you do, and this is a really good job.
Thank you.
Also, I enjoyed Win's cameo of, "Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition."
It just came to me when I was, I think, what was it, like a couple of episodes ago, I actually heard her say that, and I was like, oh, I just got an idea. And that was when I, fed that, idea to her, and all I heard was cackling, laughing, and rubbing her hands together. I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to enjoy this too much. Maybe I want to dial it down.
Well, the wheels in my head were turning.
The only reason I went with your call sign to be Morphins because I didn't know if saying Aisha or Trini would have had the the right je ne sais quoi coming off of that, so I just went for awesome Morphin Lydia. It just sounded like it rolled off the tongue nicer. Okay. And to our own Kimberly. Shut up,
Well,
phone.
but yeah, it was a really well put together review. Your editing is getting way better. I love the fact that you pointed out positives and the negatives because the last time that movie got reviewed, it got nothing but shat on.
Critic.
And the fact that I got to do that little line was really, really fun. Like, I was kind of hoping I got the right context, and by sounds of it, you were satisfied, so that makes me happy. I was glad to help.
Alright, Kaiju. Let's have it.
What? Have what?
Your thoughts.
Oh yeah, I mentioned earlier before that, the review was very well done. Made points that I hadn't thought about in a while. Very interesting, unique perspective on the film. Tight editing, faster credits, faster end credits. If there's anything, I would say if there's any means of removing the background audio whenever you are on camera, that would probably be the one thing that could use some improving. I know how to remove background audio from audio files. I'm not exactly sure how to do so with video files, unless you can separate the audio from the video, in which case you can remove the background audio through Audacity, and then just combine the audio and video together in post.
I can do that. The only problem with doing that is a very lengthy process in which to get the noise gate to work through it, and even then putting it back together, I've had some instances where it helps in some areas, but in other areas it lacks a little bit. What I'm thinking of doing is a colleague suggested to me where you can get this noise removal.
Like a pop filter?
Actually, I suppose.
Sorry, go ahead.
One of my colleagues recommended this microphone that you actually attach on to your camcorder. You can even use this on your smartphone, and that actually overrides the microphone that's on the camcorder, and it just removes the background noise and just focuses on your voice, just going to going from
like a directional microphone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thankfully those things are relatively small and they just clamp on to the top of it. The only other thing I thought about doing was maybe putting an audio track underneath it, just so that, well, it's something to take the hissing away, because I do notice that. I don't notice it when I'm listening to through the speakers, because it's not there. It's only when I've got the headset on, that's when I notice it. But it's something I'm working on, but unfortunately it comes down to having the finances to be able to afford that, and when you've got bills to pay and groceries to go get, needs come first.
Yeah.
But we'll see in a few months if I'm able to free some funds up, because even if it improves it by, say, 40%, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, that is just something just to get done. I mean, maybe there's a field, a feature built into the existing model of the camcorder that I use, because keep in mind the one that I use is circa 2012, so they've probably made a few advances since then, but again, that's another means of having to be able to afford to actually get that done, so we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate the feedback, because as I've said to you before, you're a very huge part of the fixes and improvements on the movie series, because you've often said things like keep the transitions descriptive, but straight to the point. Tighten the editing, and keep the credits to
a minimum.
Brief but descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like I say, it's just
one more suggestion I forgot. Sorry to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
During your transitions, as opposed to having your audio have like a hard cut to silence, you could have the audio fade out before actually transitioning to the next segment.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind. Thank you.
You're welcome. I forgot about that. I was thinking of that when I saw it.
It's funny, if you go back to when I did the countdown to Christmas in 2013, that's actually the same transition animation loop that I would use for the transitions for my Man of Steel review. The only difference is what you saw for Power Rangers was the beginning of that transition, whereas Man of Steel was something like 40 to 50 seconds afterwards, after the moon's already been and gone. And the only reason I chose to use that again, along with the score underlaying it, I just thought it just seemed like an appropriate fit, because they're out in space. People usually think of something very majestic and very very sci-fi with the score, so I just thought it was a perfect fit. How I'm gonna tackle Batman and Robin? Take it easy, Sean. Thanks for stopping by. Sean, hopefully the coronavirus doesn't get to your area, because I did read what you said earlier, so for your sake, I hope it doesn't get there. Because he said earlier that he suffers with asthma, so I hope for his sake it doesn't get to him. Because, we've already had, about 23 cases in the UK alone in the last few weeks. Although some scientists are actually trialing out this experimental vaccine to put out, but it's just like, there's the problem. Experimental. Because we don't know what, if that's going to do any, more harm than good, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Steve. Be careful when you're traveling. It's also why hand gel is literally sold out anytime I go up to either the supermarkets or local pharmacies. I go in and there's hand soap available, but not hand travel gel, and I'm just like, great, the one time that I need it and it's not there.
You can't get alcohol wipes, like those,
No.
those wipes you get? Damn.
Yeah. And people are buying them up in stock and selling them on Amazon and eBay for 3 times the price.
Yep.
That does not surprise me at all.
Those medical masks.
Yeah.
Welcome to r/trashy. I am human garbage.
We ain't shit. We ain't shit. Well, we are the shit, but you know, shit can come in two different forms.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm planning on doing, because somebody at some stage is going to ask, how are you going to cover the Bat credit card segment? I have an idea to sort of turn it on his head rather than, you know, make a joke out of it, like Critic did, saying, you know, how dare you? It's like, well, here's an obvious answer to that. How could you expect him not to have a credit card? Because people would ask, you know, how do you afford all your gadgets? How do you afford all your tech and what have you? And I would actually play it off into like a fake pseudo Bat credit card commercial, which I'll probably get Win to do something comical with regards to that, and just put like, you know, like ridiculous you know, APR rates on there to where, you know, you'd see like Kaiju at the other end going, ooh, this credit card is so good, I must get this now.
It's everywhere you want to be!
You'll never leave your bat cave without it.
Kaiju, that's perfect. That's perfect. Steven just says, do a superhero create card. Yeah. Although...
And for all you vigilantes on the go, it's bulletproof.
Ooh. Yeah. Steven says they did a similar joke in an episode of Power Rangers. Huh. I did not know that. He says it's called Organic Express Card. Okay. So yeah, that's something to think about. Oh, it was Wild Force, according to him. I felt like that season was underrated a little bit.
It was definitely pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, that was actually the last season by Saban, and technically the first season under Disney.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they actually changed hands during midway through the shoot.
Yeah, and like Glass Galaxy, it was pretty dark because you kind of find out. What? Spoiler warning for those who've never seen Wild Force or grew up on it, but you've been warned. Kind of find out the Red Ranger's parents were murdered.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And of course, we know what the actor did as the Red Ranger. Now,
Heard that was self-defense.
yeah, even
Well, that's not what the courts thought.
Ah, of course.
yeah, we
Well,
were just,
shit, that one I didn't know.
and to be fair, Austin St. John actually put out a very diplomatic video with regards to when the news broke, because he says, look, we don't all have all the facts and you know, and the details, so at this point in time it's probably best just to leave things as they are and let people work this out in the courts. And you know, it was actually just very refreshing just to hear somebody say that with such a rational and logical mindset. He got asked one question one time, was like, is there any beef between you and Austin St. John? Not Austin St. John, Jason David Frank. And it was just his body language. He could tell that he didn't want to talk about it, whereas JDF, don't get me wrong, I love that guy to pieces, but there are sometimes I really feel like saying, damn it, dude, just shut the fuck up. Because he would say at some some Q&A panels that Austin's, full of BS and this, that, and I'm like, and you hear like some of Austin's responses is like, I definitely got a much more reserved sense with him. Like he just wants to sort of keep to himself and just mind his own business. Whereas JDF, as much as I love him, I think my brother once described him as being an egomaniac.
And that's why we have an ongoing inside joke of him being Nevy's bitch.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Power Rangers, the way it is, probably wouldn't be the way it is without Jason David Frank, in large part, but it's just the way that he handles himself outside of the morphing grid. Like, when he got ejected from the Power Rangers screening because he was taking Instagram selfies in the audience, and I'm like, dude, there's a reason why they say put your phone away, or if you need it on that badly, put it on airplane mode or silent.
Time and place.
I know.
I also heard he has beef with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh,
I did hear something about that. Never heard anything particularly definitive though. Oh, and on unrelated subject, apparently there's this word on the wire going around that they've got Henry Cavill cast as Wolverine for Captain Marvel 2.
whoa, what?
Yeah, I saw this off of Everything Always' video the other day. Treat this as pure speculation until you hear it from either Marvel or Henry himself. Apparently they've cast him as Wolverine in Captain Marvel 2. I don't buy it.
Yeah, last time they said he was doing a role.
I mean, he said he's done playing Superman, but I don't think he would move on to a superhero property as big as Wolverine, because, yeah, he's got a really big shoe to fill.
Really, because apparently he said on his Instagram that he's not done with his Superman role. He's just merely keeping the costume, up in his closet, and he will revisit it at some point. The only thing is, though.
Oh, I thought he was done. Okay, my mistake.
Oh no, that was Ben Affleck with Batman because of his health.
I'm confusing that. Okay.
Yeah, the reasons were there was no like disputes or anything. It's just he was going through a lot of stress around that time, and it was affecting his health. So he stepped down from the role.
And of course,
now we have Robert Pattinson.
I find it interesting that the bat symbol on his suit is supposedly made out of the gun that killed his parents, which is like, that's dark. But we'll wait and see to what he brings out. My brother was surprised when he heard that. I'm stuck on names a second. One who played Smeagol.
Andy Serkis.
Serkis?
Yeah.
Yep, he was really surprised to hear that he's playing Alfred. When I heard when he heard that John Turturro is going to be playing Carmine Falcone, he's just like, okay, I'm intrigued. Go on.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds promising.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Oh, okay. I think that might be going the what's that game? Telltale version of the Penguin, because it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, they're getting Jeffrey White as Commissioner Gordon. I'm like, okay, that's going to be a different take on Gordon. But then again, it was no different to, when they got Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White. Because when I heard about that casting, I'm like, okay, that's different. But he genuinely surprised me in Man of Steel. I thought this is definitely a much more of a reserved and very when I say soulful, he's very philosophical with what he says, because when we've seen like iterations of Perry White in the past, he's always raising his voice, he's very vocal, whereas this one he's just very low, very subdued, and very chilled. And I thought, okay, it's different. And the only time we got Jimmy Olsen was in the sequel, and he gets shot out in the desert. It's just like, damn it, Jimmy. Then they made him like a CIA informant, which I'm like, what? Like, I'm all for trying new things, but that was just weird. Mind you, there were a whole bunch of things about Batman v Superman that just didn't make any sense anyway. Lest we say Martha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm starting to run out of energy at this point.
Yeah,
So.
I was about to suggest, dude.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are.
Yeah.
Well, not. I know what I said.
Yeah, we're kind of running low on steam. Plus, I should probably fix myself something to eat before Lids and I start D&D in a little under half an hour here.
Yeah. And I need to go get something to drink because my throat is getting red raw right now. Okay. Yeah, Dan, I'm not reading that out. I don't want to give references.
Let's not read that. No.
No.
I don't want to give any references to Revenge of the Sock. No. So, until episode 100, and provided I'm physically fine to do it, yeah, we hope you can join next week as well, Steve. Until next week, thank you for joining in for this week. I have been the Knight. Good night from the Knight.
The thrilling conclusion: someone dies. Just kidding. No.
Thrilling conclusion. Oni will take up chess.
Oh God.
Okay, that's not gonna happen.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye.
And buy my comic.
Buy his stuff.
1-800.
Also buy.
Go on.
Also buy the Ultraman comic.
When it comes out,
Buy
yes.
all the things.
But prioritize Draco Azul over it.
Yeah.
Buy it. Read it. Share it.
1-800. Buy
Buy the
Kaiju.
thing. Oh, well, buy Kaiju. Wow.
I get to purchase Kaiju. Wait. What's going on? Why are you buying me?
No, buy Draco Azul.
Oh, it says buy Kaiju. We're buying Kaiju.
Kaiju has felt awkward.
Bye.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
See you next week.
Bye.